Good evening, Dude79 here, just doing a quick mic check. Yes, Crash, you are the most dedicated fan, and we appreciate you and love you, brother. Quick mic check, make sure audio levels sound good.
How's it sound out there, Crash? What up?
Hopefully your tone doesn't sound too stupid, but there's pretty much no hope for that. So, just a quick mic check, we'll be live in just a moment. Big shout out to 7 Dungeons for that raid. Appreciate you, brother. Hope everyone's having a great evening. Hope you had a good time hanging out with Drastin. 7 Dungeons. What was he playing tonight, do you know?
Probably some hunting game.
Oh yeah, they're probably doing some hunting. We'll be live in just a moment. And welcome back to another edition of Banter and Babble. I'm the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague and renowned piece of shit, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, good evening, sir.
Hola.
I really don't think there's a better intro for you, is there? I mean, I feel like that encapsulates everything.
I actually agree with that.
I see, and that's what I like about it. I understand you. I understood the assignment. When I came up with that intro, I was like, I need something that's very specific, not too long-winded,
right?
But it just, you know what you're getting.
Correct. Yeah, I would definitely know.
That's why I do what I do, man.
I mean, deviant, piece of shit.
I mean, deviant, piece of shit, whatever you want to call it.
They go together even. Look at that.
They do. I mean, it rolls off the tip of your tongue.
Sure
I love
does.
it.
Sure
does Tone have a Green Lantern shirt on? I think he does. He's wearing the boxers, I think. The Green Lantern boxers. Probably one of those things.
It's a fucking Spartan.
It is much to Jay Hill's dismay. I'm sure Jay Hill's out there going, gross.
Sure.
Gross. I heard piece of shit. I am here, Daddy. So what's up, Cuddles? What's going on? Crash is in the chat. 7 Dungeons in the house.
Usual suspects.
The usual suspects.
Oh, god damn it, Danner.
Dan comes in with the
Danner's he's a blue through and through.
We're getting close to that time of year where everyone starts throwing their colors around.
So you've got Jay Hill as like your main. I'd say of all the people, at least that I personally know, he's one of the ones that you have back and forth when it comes to the Dan's mine.
Dan's your guy,
He's my guy. He's the Michigan guy. I'm the state guy. So always at fisticuffs.
Jay Hill isn't the worst.
No, he's a sports fan, not a fucking.
He's a
lamer,
sports guy. I mean, he's got his love, and I know he has the Jim Harbaugh costume at home. He wears the khaki pants and the glasses and shit. But
right.
Better not saying the worst. No, Jay Hill, you're not
Tidy
the
whiteys.
worst. Yeah. I mean,
Socks.
when he wants to be a loser, he can be. But for the most part, he's a pretty good guy. So
she did.
Kate, what's up?
Oh, she did make it.
Kate, I took your advice and we pushed the trailers to the very end of the show.
Oh.
So
Could be sleeping again.
You know it. I sleep in khakis. I know you do, Jay Hill, and that's okay. That's your God. That's your Messiah.
His underwear are khakis too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But Tone, here we are. It's Wednesday night. We're back to headquarters after a just.
Are you gonna apologize to everybody or no?
I guess I probably should apologize to everybody. We got fucking trashed last week.
Excuse me, who?
When I say we, that was the royal we, as in me.
Yeah.
Dude, that was first of all a fun show as always, an absolute blast. Doing show from Coy's Comics. Brandy and Steve are just fucking awesome people to hang out with, and they understood the assignment. They were ready to go. They had their knowledge. They watched all Stranger Things. They were well versed on Thor. Mm-hmm. And they just, again, it was just a fun experience with those guys.
They have such great perspectives, too.
So much as we went 4.5 hours, dude. That I think on record, that might be our longest episode. I don't remember the 50th episode with Booty. I think that ran pretty deep into the night, but I don't remember 4.5 hours. I mean, not including the Comic-Con, of course. Comic-Con does not count.
Right.
But we went 4.5 hours, and I got shit-faced. I was tanked.
You don't say.
Yeah, and that was just that is before I had to be up early the next day to start packing to get ready to go up north for a long weekend of debauchery.
I couldn't believe you sent a text that next morning so early. I was like, he's actually up.
Dude, I was Daddy got smashed. I was really smashed. And I woke up and I was supposed to be packed up and ready to go by 11. I wasn't out the door until noon. I got up, I went to the store and got the stuff that I needed, and then I completely fell asleep when I got home on the couch. I was like, I need to fucking rest. It was a brutal, brutal day.
Yeah, I almost rock bottomed you through the table. It was quite a heated debate, but it was all. I mean, what are you gonna do?
We did get a little heated towards the end.
Yeah, so fucking what though?
I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, it was the direction of the MCU
the Marvel
movies and the tone that they're setting and like giving us a clear idea of where we're headed.
Yeah, and we definitely weren't agreeing. So
no, we locked horns on that one. I would say we were at an impasse.
Okay. Say what you want.
We agreed to disagree cordially, right?
Yes.
Before we get into what we've been up to, Tone, what are we drinking?
Definitely, Josie. We are drinking the official beer of Banter and Babble. Well, it's official to us, maybe not to Pigeon Hill necessarily. But,
Pigeon Hill doesn't know about it, but that's okay.
They'll know someday. But we are drinking the OCP, the oatmeal cream pie. And tonight,
you decided to compliment it.
Finally, after so long of talking about it, we got ourselves here an oatmeal cream pie to go with them.
A double-decker.
But a double-decker as well, too. So it's going to be, you're ready to, okay, he's ready to open it.
Well, Tony, you know what I always say. If you can't have one cream pie,
right,
you got to have two.
You got to have
and
two.
There's nothing wrong with having some extra cream in there. If it's oozing out on both sides.
Yes.
I mean, this is a lot of cream in there, and you just got to, and see what you do is you just kind of pull it open like this a little bit, and you just go on for that first bite. I'm
pretty sure you're on like some offender list somewhere.
There's a certain etiquette to eating a cream pie. You do. You got to get in there for that first bite and make sure you get a big gob of it. So it's
he does right north.
That's a fine compliment to the beer itself. Mm-hmm. So we're all cream pied up here tonight.
And this is perfect that we have this tonight because
we love cream pies.
Yes, you do. Because we're gonna have a little meme debate later, and this is a little hint to what that meme debate is.
This is a little foreshadow, foreshadowing what we got going on. Dude has to wear a disguise when he drops the kids off at school. You know what? That's none of your business.
He wears his wife's romper.
Hey, you know what? That's none of your business. Okay, stay out of my affairs, and don't judge. Okay, it was different times then.
Totally wears your wife's romper.
Anywho,
Yes.
so now we know we're drinking, what we're eating. Tom,
Yeah.
what the fuck did you do this weekend, dude?
I, along with some amazing roommates and friends of mine that I've been friends with for a long time, that are much like a few handful of people that are around me, even in this chat, that are like pretty much family to me at this point. But we went to a music festival in Grand Rapids called the Upheaval Fest. A lot of dad metal, as they say, some older bands and shit like that, and some radio rock. I have a soft spot for radio rock. There's a reason why that these bands are popular. I get it. I'm in on it. I consciously am aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other friends from work were also there as well too, so that was really awesome to hang out with everybody as we did. And oh Jesus,
You're deep throating it again.
So yeah, we did that. Friday it was raining
Ugh.
for about half the day. That was pretty interesting to sit in the rain. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was 75 degrees out roughly, overcast, wasn't too humid. So yeah, we're wet for a few hours, but then for the other half of it, you were drying off and it was fine. I'd rather that than what we dealt with on Saturday, which was 85 fucking degrees and like 70% humidity, sitting in there with the fucking sun on your back. Now, I've never handled the sun well since a child. Like the sunlight, my eyes are light sensitive. I get headaches really easy out in the sun. I can't stand the heat. I just never have. So sitting there was quite fucking miserable. I had some sunscreen that did help. I made sure to remember this time. But what was nice about this venue that we realized the first day that we didn't know was that you could take chairs in there. They allowed you to take chairs in there,
Didn't
like
know
lawn
that?
chairs. Didn't know. The first time been in this place.
Oh, okay.
So we went to Meyer on Saturday, got some chairs, and were able to at least be more comfortable that day.
That's good.
Throughout it, so it was pretty great. There was some. Honestly, there was 3 bands that were the highlights for me, and
Nickelback.
Nope. 3 of them I'd never actually listened to before. So like there was some big main stage bands that I've heard and I've seen before. I've seen Mudvayne. That's like second time. I've seen Hatebreed now 3 times. Never seen 3 Days Grace. I've seen Breaking Benjamin, Disturbed years ago. All these
there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But at the end of the day, the 3 bands that were the big takeaways were ones I were exposed to and that are a little lesser known. And to me, that's a big win, especially when it comes to music. Exploring music's big. Finding new bands to explore is always great. But so Grand Rapids, great time. Had some great food. Hung out, drank some beers. It was a pretty amazing weekend.
That's good. I, too, had an amazing weekend. Every year, a bunch of buddies of mine from high school, we go up to northern Michigan. Sometimes, usually, it's somewhere around Traverse City, Torch Lake area. And we just, when we started doing this, we've been doing this for like 15 years now. I mean, this is like something that we just like really enjoy doing. It gives us an because we're all spread out all over the place. We all have families, we all have jobs, so we don't get to hang out as much as we used to. But, when we first started doing this, we would go there, dude. And it was just like the minute you got there, we're drinking. We're drinking on the way up there. We're like doing a pub crawl all the way up to northern Michigan. But over the years, kids have come into the picture, and we're getting tired. We want to sleep. So now we just go up there, and we're usually in bed by like 9 or 10. But we still get our fair share of drinking and eating and stuff. And I was eating this weekend, and you were eating this weekend. And first of all, it was an awesome weekend. I love going up there with those guys, having a good time with them. Just kind of like no wives, no kids. You're just chilling. Trying to, just have a good time with guys that you grew up with. But, dude, like you, we did some cooking. And you and I, we got some photos of the stuff that we were eating. First up is your breakfast.
Yeah, this is at Anna's in Grand Rapids. That is a Dublin hash. That is pulled apart corned beef roast, basically. Chunks of sausage in there, cheese, eggs. And then that is a build-your-own pasta at Uccello's. Yeah, it's a sports bar, an Italian sports bar. Pretty amazing. That's rigatoni with a ragu bolognese ground pork sauce, and that Sicilian grilled chicken there. That was one of the best meals I probably have ever had.
It looked sexy as hell.
That was incredible as well, too.
This is my first foray into ribs.
It looked like it turned out really well.
I grabbed 3 racks of baby back ribs. I bought a barbecue sauce that tasted like shit, so I couldn't use that. I didn't want to use that. I didn't want to pour that on the ribs. I did not have my spritzer. I didn't have any apple cider or apple vinegar, so I just basically smoked these and just did my best to keep them as moist as possible, and they were amazing. And then we had these fucking things. These things, cowboy steaks.
Those look like your ass cheeks.
These were a great gesture. Really hard to do when all you have is a 2-burner grill and a smoker and a Blackstone. But we made it work. We smoked it. And there you go. That's how it looks when it's done. That's how a 3-inch piece of steak. Basically, what we did is I took that steak, put it in the smoker at like 220 degrees, brought it up to about 135, so it was like medium rare, and then we just threw it on the grill and the Blackstone and seared it on both sides for about 3 minutes. That's about the best we could do, and they turned out pretty good, dude. They turned out pretty good. Now, look, would I recommend we do cowboy steaks again next year? No. That's just too much. I mean, we had 10 of those. Each person had their own. I can only get through about half of it, but that's because I smashed a bunch of the ribs prior. Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of shrimp we were eating. But I mean, it was interesting because we weren't sure how we were going to cook those. So we were on like TikTok. We went on YouTube trying to find, we started finding out about, the reverse sear method that people are doing. So we just put a couple of those steaks in the smoker, another couple in the oven, and just kind of baked them or roasted them at a low temp, let it get up to where it needed to be, and then seared the fuck out of them. And they actually turned out pretty good. But those ribs, I was really, really, really happy with those ribs. That's the first time I ever done ribs. And like I said, I didn't have all the stuff that I normally would have used because I left most of it at home like an idiot. But, for just going straight rub and smoking it and just maintaining it and making sure they stayed moist with the drip pan, I was really happy. The bone, like I said, the bone came right out of the meat. I just reached out and pulled the bone out of it.
I wanted that.
These things were a little intimidating, but they turned out pretty good. But I don't know if I would recommend those anymore or ever again. I mean, it was a cool one-time thing, but that's overkill. Left everything at home because you got wasted the night before. That's, you know what? Jay Hill is exactly right. Exactly right. That's exactly what happened. I slept and I was rushing, but overall, man, it was a great weekend. Anytime you can go up there and just enjoy northern Michigan. Went to Torch Lake, went out to the sandbar. Water was nice. It was clear. The sandbar, we had a boat on Friday. The sandbar was actually really hopping on a Friday. I couldn't believe how busy it was. I was like, wow. Should have seared and then just threw them in the smoke with no smoke. Use it like an oven. No, man, the searing, the reverse sear was it worked really good. It was smoked really good, and then we seared it and kept everything in. Then we let them rest. It worked really good, the reverse sear. I'm actually a big fan of that method. I want to try to do it differently than with not with the big ass honky piece of steak, like a regular ribeye or something a little bit more meant for human consumption. Look at there's the man, the myth, right there. You big dummy.
Wait, so there's two of them here. Are you talking both of us are big dummies? Or is he the big dummy?
I'm the big lush. You're the big dummy.
Yeah, well.
He doesn't argue that, does he?
Big dummy, too. Yeah, Rohit Raju, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only. Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Glad to have you here. Great dark match you had last Tuesday. Of course, it's both of us. Yeah, two dummies. If you guys haven't got a chance, rewind that. Hit that
Check it out,
YouTube last Tuesday. Check out that match that he had. It was a really awesome match. He even got a promo in that night, so make sure you catch that.
Yes,
that's what we. That's personally, that's
what I'm there for. I mean, obviously he's awesome in the ring, but I'm all about them promos, man.
Definitely
them white hot promos.
Yep. And then we of course had Jake something this last Tuesday on Dark against fan favorite, well known Michigander Danhausen as well too. So these guys are out there doing it. They're on those AEW Darks. So let's get TK to pull out those pens, those pencils, those papers. Let these guys make some stats.
It official. Make it official
here.
Let's go.
Half-Ass wants to know if you've seen some things on that sandbar.
I did. They're right here.
Okay.
Right here, Half-Ass.
Cool.
These are the titties that everybody saw, and those are the only ones that matter, dude.
Cuddles also want to know if he's got a question for y'all. Thoughts on?
I seen that. I have a question. I would like y'all's thoughts on it. If you have 5 minutes or so, can I call in later? Absolutely.
Yeah, so there you go.
I got to get everything set up, so we'll probably do first couple of topics and then get to a tinkle time, and I'll get everything set up behind the scenes. And we will get Cuddles on.
So no worries.
Yeah, Jake got cursed.
Jake did get cursed. But that when he caught him in midair, and that was pretty fucking that play out was awesome.
Tell you, man, Rohit and Jake are just too good, man. Too good. Make sure you check out their stuff.
It's true.
Make sure you check them out.
Y'all know.
You know what we need to do? I think we need to try to work on getting Rohit back.
We probably should get Rohit on the show sometime soon.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, so Rohit, clear up your schedule here in the next month or two. We'll figure out a Wednesday night. We'll have our people get hold of your people, get you back on here. We'll just talk about whatever you want to fucking talk about.
Yeah.
Honestly,
we'll just let you draw up the itinerary of what we're talking about.
Shit, we'll even leave Dude. He can stay upstairs, and you can just host it with me for a little bit. That'll be a good time. Okay, or not.
Cool. That's harsh. What else you been doing? You been playing anything? Doing anything? Just working and partying and eating and drinking.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't done shit.
The end.
I haven't done any gaming at all. I made you proud.
Oh, yeah.
I made him proud,
After
y'all.
7 years.
7 years and constant badgering and ridiculing and judgment. I can't believe how quickly I got through it, too. I must have been further along than I thought.
Sure.
But I jumped back into God of War, and I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this fucking game.
Right.
And over the course of a weekend,
Yeah.
I powered through it and got through the story. I was like, oh, I was actually really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still have a ton of shit to do. I have all the
Never do
Valkyries, I have all the dwarf missions. I have so much shit I have to explore. But in terms of moving the story forward and finally the reveal everyone had been obviously been talking about that I somehow managed to avoid.
I don't know how you avoided that.
I had no idea. Once it popped at the end, I was like, oh, shit. Once it name drop who Atreus is, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was huge.
Thought that was pretty dope. So I am ready to go for November 9th. We do know that God of War Ragnarok is slated for this year. We'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to our fall preview, which is going to be probably in about mid-August. We'll do a fall preview of the big titles coming out. Now that we've kind of got the roadmap figured out, we know pretty much all the stuff, all the games are going to be coming out this fall, with the exception of maybe if there's a couple shadow drops that we don't know about yet. But we pretty much have an idea of what to expect this fall. Now that Xbox and Sony have announced which titles are getting pushed and which ones are coming out this year, so we'll definitely jump into that at a later date. But excited that we finally do have a God of War release date. There was so many rumors going around like, oh, it's been pushed back, or it's been delayed, or it's getting canceled, all this shit.
Even Jaffe was saying he thought so too.
I like Jaffe.
We all do.
But I think Jaffe likes to cry wolf.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, look, I love him. I think he's hilarious, but he likes to cry wolf a lot.
A lot.
Rohit at Koi's make it happen. Ooh.
That would be pretty fun.
It would be pretty hot. That'd be a big table. That'd be a fucking panel. That's not a table. That's a panel.
It would be a panel.
Yeah.
We're an MCU panel now, finally.
That is a panel that I would be down with. I wouldn't mind trying to set that up. I would need some more equipment, though.
Who would Rohit be? He'd be like a lame X-Men or something that nobody cares about. Let's see.
Give him a name. Who's he going to
be? Who would be a lame? Yeah, I see him being like a Jubilee or something like that.
Wow.
Sparkles.
Ooh.
Here's my fireworks. Cool.
Sparkles?
Or maybe Morph. Yeah, I was just going to say Morph, too.
As soon as he said it, he typed it. You guys are vibing right there.
I was just going to fucking say it. He beat me to it, too. God damn it.
Awesome.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's we got a lot of stuff obviously throughout the rest of the year. One thing we do want to mention to you guys and girls really quick, and we're working on it right now, and hopefully we're trying to have it ready for next week. Because after next week, the following week there is not going to be a show. I'm going on family vacation. I'm going to be gone that whole week.
Yeah.
But next week's show, we're going to try to get out to you guys and gals a survey. Tone is setting up through SurveyMonkey. Now look. We love each and every one of you. Everyone that tunes in and hangs out and is busy in the Discord. We are all friends, and we love you guys and girls very much. But we know sometimes when we say, hey, what can we do better with the show? Everyone's like, nah, it's a great show. And hey, we love it. We love it. But we want you to be mean, okay? And I know sometimes it's hard to do that just face-to-face or in a Discord or even in a DM. We're going to put out a survey, an anonymous survey, and we're going to ask you guys and girls, what do you want to see us do on the show? Like in terms of like the content, the way we handle content, the way we handle topics, the way the segments that we do. We want to get your feedback. Things you don't like, things you kind of like, or other suggestions. And I mean, I know there's bits and there's jokes that we can do, but I mean, I'm coming to y'all right now and asking like seriously, when this survey goes live, it'll be anonymous. I promise you, it'll be anonymous the way Tone's going to set it up. And we want you guys and girls to sit there and really think about it and hit us with the hard truths. If it's the sound of the mics, if it's anything, or the way the show is set up, or the way it plays out, or anything, we need to know because we want to tweak it. We don't want to get complacent. And we need the hard truths. We need that harsh criticism because that's the only way we can move forward. So as soon as we get this thing finished up, we're going to get it out to you guys and girls, and we would love as many of you to participate as possible and be as thorough. So I know everyone's got work and family and lives and other shit going on, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're just asking for a little bit of feedback when you get some downtime. You get the kids in bed, you're sitting down, you're having a drink, you break out the phone. oh, hey, here's the survey. Brent, you smell funny, and I can't even smell you, but I just know you smell like shit. Just so we know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna dive deep on some of these questions I'm already working on. So trust me, it'll be deep.
Yeah, and that's all we want. And what we'll do also is the way we had, we're trying to see if we can do this. The way SurveyMonkey works is we'll also try to do a drawing based on everyone that puts in for it. We won't have it show us what you put, but just so we know who participated, so we can put you into a drawing, and we'll reward some of y'all for being a part of the survey. So
stay tuned on that.
Stay tuned. We're still working on everything, but honestly, we want all your feedback. Good, bad, horrible. That's the only way this show can evolve and get better. And if we can do it anonymously so you don't have to worry about like, oh, I don't want to say anything because I'll feel bad. Fuck that. Be mean. Be harsh. We want to get better. Okay? That's how we want to do things. We need that harsh feedback. Sometimes. He does especially. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
All right, got that out of the way, Tone. We've only got a couple topics tonight, but they should be really, really good topics. And let's get to the first one, dude. Here we are. It is now time to move on to the final four of the Cuddles Classic, The Best of Nick Cage. And let's take a look at the bracket, Tone. We have now 4 finalists left. We'll start at the top. Gone in 60 Seconds stood no chance against The Rock. That was swept, basically, 14-2. The Rock, which is the father.
Welcome to The Rock.
The father of the Holy Trinity.
Oh.
Okay? The next one down, Raising Arizona versus Con Air. As much as I love Raising Arizona, I have a feeling about Con Air, dude. And we talked about it before the show. Okay? There's a thing about Con Air, and we'll talk about it when we get to its matchup with The Rock. But Con Air swept Arizona. It wasn't even close, 14-2. Up in the top right, we had Face Off versus The Color Out of Space. Color Out of Space is a big favorite around here. We're big fans.
But let's be realistic.
Face Off is the Holy Ghost of the Holy Trinity.
That's
That's like the creme de la creme. That's the peak. That's peak Cage. That's peak Holy Trinity. That is arguably his best movie. And lastly, I'm not surprised at this point because honestly, as much as I love Willy's Wonderland, we've already found out that there is just a lot of love and nostalgia for National Treasure.
There is.
And National Treasure, it took 12 votes against 5 for Willy. So Willy got a little bit of love, but National Treasure continues its Cinderella run in this Cuddles Classic. So now we have our final 4.
The final 4.
We have The Rock,
Woo!
the Con Air and Face Off, the Holy Trinity, and then National Treasure.
What a spicy final 4, in my opinion. We got the Holy Trinity in there. We see that.
The Holy Trinity. And I don't think anyone's really surprised. I mean, it's the Holy Trinity.
I don't think anybody really is at the end of the day.
But I do think this is going to make things very interesting. Now, let's start on the left side of the bracket. Let's talk about The Rock against Con Air. The Rock was like basically Nick Cage's first big step into like superstar, like in terms of like action movie. This is when he became an action hero, you know? So The Rock is, and it's arguably, and not even arguably, that's Michael Bay's best movie. Amazing.
That's his only movie I thought he directed.
No, I mean, it might as well be. But we have, Con Air has Nick Cage, Sean Connery, Ed Harris, an incredible cast.
What up, Gray?
And going up against, now here's the thing, man. As much as I love The Rock, and The Rock is a much more polished movie, it's better acted, it's got great action, it's got a great story. But let's look at Con Air for a second. Now, Con Air, the son of the Holy Trinity, and probably, if I had to guess, probably I don't want to say the least favorite, but the least impactful of the Holy Trinity. In terms of like its popularity, but I do feel like there is something. It's got that it factor.
It's I think it's there's a lot of caricatures in there.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing for Con Air with people, and myself included. Like honestly, it really isn't a lot about Nick Cage to me because I can't deal with his southern drawl. I can't handle it. It's too much.
Nobody can because it's the worst southern draw in movie history.
But that being said, that all that's kind of like a comedy piece in itself, but the characters in it are what make up so much of that movie, because sometimes you're only as good as the people you surround yourself around. And very honestly, that this cast in Con Air, and I think that's why a lot of people reference it and say they see Con Air, that, you know, I hear more about Con Air out of people's mouths just as a like general audience than I do The Rock, very honestly.
Gray Monster says Con Air first, National Treasure number 2 is my guess, but still Family Man is his best movie. Everyone loves Family Man.
Everyone loves Family Man.
Everyone, I mean, people are fans. Can we refer to Color Out of Space, Manny, and Willy's Wonderland as the Unholy Trinity? I think that's
a pretty fucking neat way of doing that. I'm really into that.
I actually am on board
now, do you not like those movies half-assed? Is that why you're doing that? Or are you just saying, like, in contrast? Because I actually dig that. See, I know Forge is a big fan of The Rock. He loves The Rock.
The Rock is a great movie. So I think this is going to be a very, very close matchup, The Rock and Con Air. I mean, obviously, look, a lot of people love The Rock, but Con Air has that kind of like that underrated it factor.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's one of those movies where, like, The Rock is on, I'm going to watch it, but whenever I see Con Air on, I'm like, I have to watch this movie.
I think he's talking about Ed Harris, right?
The guy who plays the leader of the Marines in The Rock is such a good Ed Harris. Yes.
Yeah.
Ed Harris. Yep.
He's also right now the Man in Black in Westworld,
yep.
HBO, which is an amazing.
He's also in Top Gun
sci-fi.
Maverick for like 5 minutes.
He really is too. He makes cameos in a lot of things. Wasn't he in Apollo 13 as well?
Yes, that's where he actually won an Oscar for that.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh
yeah. Huh?
Yeah, he's like what is that?
Truman. Yep.
Yeah, Truman. He's amazing. He's Christoph. He's Christoph. He hits a home run in that movie. Yeah. He hits a home run in that movie. So he's empathized with a villain like that. I mean, like, seriously, man, Ed Harris is he's got incredible range. He's a really, really, really good actor. I've always been a big fan of Ed Harris. So that one is a really solid matchup. Now we move over to the other side of the bracket. This one is going to be a barn burner, I think. I think this is going to be, I mean, look, at first we thought it was a bit, but I mean, there is a lot of love for National Treasure. It's nostalgic for a lot of people. It's one of his biggest movies. It made a lot of money. It spawned a sequel. This is Nick Cage through and through. This is mainstream 90s Nick Cage. Everyone loves National Treasure, but it's going up against arguably the best that the Holy Trinity has to offer. One of the best action movies of not just the 90s, but in my opinion, one of the best action movies of the last like quarter century. It's that good. Face Off is that good.
Not to mention, it's one of my personal favorite roles of Travolta too.
Yes,
because like literally, like he even said it himself. He's like, I felt like that Cage had it harder to be me because I'm so kind of plain. He's like, I had a lot of fun doing Cage because Cage is so like quirky about stuff. Yeah. He's like, so I could
dive into Travolta's a little bit more nuanced. And, like,
right. You know, so like, honestly, like, and even though it's so silly to even the concept is silly, but to me, when I watch the movie, they each do such a good job of each other. Like, I actually believe it. Like, they made me believe that as a kid, and I still believe it as an adult that they switched faces in that fucking movie. I don't care who you are, but I mean, yeah, Face Off is Face Off to me, and like. Listen, I actually like. I don't. Do you even like National Treasure? Or you just don't.
I know. I like National Treasure. I just don't think it's like.
Okay.
In terms of like his action movies, I don't think it's even close to the upper echelon. And in terms of his indie stuff, obviously, I think all that.
And that's fair. And like, I think I probably like National Treasure just a little bit more than you. And I do agree that like a lot of his other movies I think are better than that. But I get why people like that movie. I get why general audiences enjoy that because it is fun, right?
And it's accessible. It's not like Con Air and Face Off. It's not like ultra violent and a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a little. I don't want to say it's family friendly, but it's a little bit just easier to bring more people to and enjoy.
I understand it, but man, I'm gonna tell you, like, if you've not seen all 4 of these movies, just generally, you know, I guess I can get that because not everybody probably would be exposed to these, but most people, I think, at least in our age group or bracket, has probably seen at least all 4 of these.
I would hope
is very familiar with these, and
so.
You know, I think this is going to be a tough matchup for National Treasure on this one. National Treasure's come swinging through, but it to me has had, you know, his indie films to kind of go up against. So, you know, I could be surprised on that, very honestly, but you know, Face Off is Face Off, and to me, like. Very honestly, that's probably one of my all-time favorite movies of Cage. So,
see, I feel like, you know, for myself, I feel like this is the Rock and Con Air is a tougher matchup for me. But for the people who like a National Treasure, I think they're in a really tough spot because I think it doesn't matter on the left side. I think everyone's going to struggle with The Rock and Con Air.
That's where I think.
But I feel like, you know, the people who really, really love National Treasure also really, really fucking love Face Off, and they are in a very tough position right now. So I'm going to be really curious to see how this plays out. The votes will be open tomorrow morning, and they will run through next Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
So if you're on the Discord.
And what I would like all y'all to do is take your time. Take your time with this. If you got to catch a viewing in of any of the 4 movies between now and next week, make sure you do so.
And be honest, like, you know, if you really like National Treasure or The Rock, like, vote that way. Like, this. I mean, clearly we want to have fun too, but like, you know, we don't want any bits either.
See, and like Jay Hill, I know, like, I was giving him shit. He goes, I love National Treasure, but not against Face Off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like I said, man. Like, I get the you know, at first I thought people were doing bits with National Treasure, but I do think there are folks that just naturally just really like that movie, and the movies that it beat out, I can understand. To a degree. Like, I mean, sure, Mandy's not for everybody. And who did it knock off last week? Oh, Willy's Wonderland. Willy's Wonderland, again.
Which I like better than Mandy, personally.
I love Willy's Wonderland, but I can understand why people would be like, no, National Treasure for me.
And, like, for me, like, I actually like Gone in 60 Seconds more than National Treasure.
Really?
I fucking, something about Gone in 60 Seconds, I don't know.
I think the fact that we have these 4 left show it isn't a bit. No, I think you're right. I think you're right, Forge. And that's why I've kind of, like, pulled back on that a little bit. And I think Forge. This is like what we really wanted ultimately, though, is we wanted to get to a Final 4 where it's going to be a tough choice.
This needs to be a tough choice, yeah.
And this is interesting. I mean, the Holy Trinity's there, National Treasure is there. If it beats Face Off, we will restart bracket without it. This is gonna be fun, you guys. Like I said, this is gonna go live tomorrow morning. Take your time. You have until next Tuesday.
Hit the Discord command.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get that Discord. If you're not in the Discord, we're going to get that out there for you. If you like Discord, want to chat in Discord, hang out, vote in this.
Yeah, get in there, watch the movies, and get your votes in. Like I said, the polls will go live tomorrow morning. I'm going to aim for 9, might be 10. Depends on, you know, how fucking drunk. Well, I can't get drunk tonight, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yep, says that. You're already fucking almost done with 2. It's not even been
this
30,
one I haven't even touched it. I keep going to this.
Yeah. It's right.
I still think the MC movies would be the next.
I think there's 2. That's a lot, though.
That's like a top. That's a 32.
We've had some things come up recently. I'm personally think Leonardo DiCaprio would be a good one. What are a couple other ones you think got thrown out there that we thought would be good?
I thought I heard a Bill Murray one out there. I thought I heard Denzel Washington out there.
Denzel, I remember.
Denzel Washington's a good one.
Yes, I
think
Tom
Hanks is a good one.
Tom Hanks was another good one as well too. And didn't we hear like a no, maybe we didn't hear a Brad Pitt one. Maybe that was in my head too.
Wow, Fortune goes The Rock, Con Air, Face Off over National Treasure. Man, now like, look, The Rock. That's interesting. Now, I did not expect to see Face Off that low on the list. That's interesting, Forge. That's interesting. It's a Cuddle classic. I will decide, you jerks. Yeah, leave it to Cuddles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He kind of does. Yeah. He gets you get the swing vote.
Ooh, an Arnold poll.
Yeah, I definitely would fucking definitely definitely. Denzel would be very tough. I think
Denzel would be.
He's
really
had
tough
a few
one.
Stinkers out there, but even some of his stinkers, you can find something good in them.
Some of his stinkers have a following.
Dude, you want to know one of his best movies in recent years that I don't know if everybody's watched is The Book of Eli.
Book of Eli, yes.
Is
Book of Eli is really good.
Incredible. Big fan.
Book of Last Action Hero takes it. The Discord announcement makes me remember they announced another more. Oh, don't worry. That's on the docket tonight, Trinors. You kind of ruined it. You just ruined it. So we were going to surprise him with it, but Trinorth had to come in here and spoil it. So thanks, Trinorth. Can't do Denzel's movies are all 10. It's okay. It's okay, Trinorth. I wouldn't expect anything less than for you to come in here and just totally bomb my fun bit. I have no idea. I'll shoot it to you tomorrow. Hey, Cuddles, you can shoot it in me, man. I got it. All right.
That's right, Trinorth.
Let's move on to the next topic, and that is...
You don't even know anymore.
I don't. I was ready to go, but I have to switch it up because Kate wants to see some trailers.
Oh, I'm ready for some trailers. Some of these I haven't seen yet. That's what I'm excited about.
I know. Yeah, that's right. You have not seen some of these.
I do that kind of on purpose if we're going to show
We have 4 trailers, and I had to cut 2. I had one already in here, and then Jay Hill sent me one today.
That's right. Oh, he sent you that today too?
Yeah, he sent me that one today.
Oh, fuck.
But that looks dope, but we'll talk. We'll throw that in for next week. But there are 4 trailers that dropped last week. One that we didn't get to last week, and 3 over the last couple days. So we have some dope stuff to look at. First one we're going to look at, Tony, is something I know you're personally very, very excited for. You've always been a big fan of Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I know you and I are big fans of the Clerk 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the trailer for Clerks 3.
Somebody get over. Back over. That's how we did it in the 90s, son.
Can't catch my breath, man.
Really? Should I try mouth stuff?
What is this, a Tinder date? Get off of me. Oh, shit.
Mr. Dante! I need an ambulance at the quick stop.
Saved my life, man. Wish I had a life worth saving.
What are you talking about?
Sit around and watch the same movies over and over.
I always thought you could have made a cool movie.
You're right. I'm living on borrowed time. No more watching movies. I'm gonna make a movie!
What's the movie gonna be about?
It's about him working here.
Meta.
Everything in the script is something either me or someone I know said.
I'm not even supposed to be here today. Maybe Jay and Silent Bob could be characters.
Jay and Silent Bob are like C-3PO and R2-D2. They've been here since the first movie, which was the last time they were cool. But they've been with the franchise so long, they still give them cameos and put them on the lunchboxes.
Snifty Booches. Please tell me I believe in you.
You put in that stuff you used to say about the Death Star contractors.
Get sued by Disney? No way.
Now that's what I call acting!
Take off your pants.
What the hell is this?
I added a scene where you get shot.
I'm not letting you kill me off in the 3rd act. What if there's a sequel?
A sequel? What am I, a hack?
I think it needs more weed.
So, first of all, as you can all probably tell from my face, I'm super excited. The C-3PO and R2-D2 bit was definitely a highlight for me when I first saw this trailer and seen it again. What I didn't catch that was interesting, though, what I just told Dude that I'm really excited about, or not really excited about necessarily, but this, the original plan for Clerks, there was a second ending. There was a couple endings he went with. One of them was where Dante got held up at gunpoint and got shot and killed. So, you know, because it's the 8 circles of hell. So it's funny that they're kind of again it's definitely meta is the whole point here,
Right.
that they're gonna do that and he's talking about that, so that was pretty funny. So and then Kevin Smith goes, yeah, I'm not a hack, right? Like yeah.
We need comedies right now, and fucking nothing in America is funny anymore.
Fucking right.
He's not wrong. But no, it was awesome, man, to see a lot of characters, a lot of actors from all Kevin Smith's previous movies.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see Ben Affleck in
He's
there. We
always
saw
gonna-
Justin
yep.
Long in there.
Mhm.
I believe that was Rosario Dawson that we saw on the couch.
Should be.
So I mean, we're seeing a lot of returning characters, and it's just that's what I think I like about Kevin Smith, man. He's loyal to the people that have helped him get to where he is today, and so you always see him kind of reach out to the same group of friends. Are we going to see Matt Damon somewhere in this?
I would be surprised if we didn't, if you want the truth. I mean, he typically isn't around on the Clerks stuff, but I got a feeling we'll see him and maybe even Jason Lee somehow.
Just gonna say I wonder if Jason Lee. I
we
was sitting there
got
watching
to.
it earlier. I was watching the kids wanted to watch Alvin and the Chipmunks. I was like, man, can't we get Jason Lee something better?
Yeah.
Can't we get Jason Lee anything better?
Hope so.
Is everything funny depending on your sense of humor? That's a great point, Grey Monster. That's a great point. It's all about perspective. Awesome. Someone else noticed that deep callback. Fucking nothing. We need comedies. I like Kevin Smith, but more for his podcast and stuff. Was never really into his movies besides Dogma.
Yeah, his podcast and his content he does, especially because he's a big nerd as well too. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that give him a lot of shit, but I really like what he did with Masters of the Universe, and I know that's usually controversial for folks, and that's fine. But he's got his hands in a lot of stuff out there. He's a conversationalist. That's why I'm a big fan of him as well too, because he can talk like that as well too. But like, you know, just generally, I can tell you when it comes to his movies, I know they're not for everybody.
Mhm.
Dogma's a fantastic movie. Dogma's really well. Dogma, while overly comedy, even compared to Clerks, definitely has like the serious undertone of, you know, like Clerks in that aspect. Of course, while being funny, but I'll never forget in '95 or whatever it was, and going to the video store and renting Clerks and Mallrats, and me and my cousins sitting there. It was typically Saturday nights what we did. We got together, rented movies, played video games. watched SNL, watched Howard Stern TV afterwards, drank Faygo, and ate pizza. That was literally our Saturday nights most of the time. And when I first saw Clerks, at first everybody was like, "Oh, it's in black and white. That's interesting." And then we watched it, and we were like completely mind blown as 15, 14-year-old kids. And then watching, of course, Mallrats, which is my favorite, which is just a big nerd fest. So, which is also controversial, usually Mallrats, but.
The thing I like about Kevin Smith movies, especially his earlier work and his more indie stuff, is just that you can tell he was kind of running at the same parallel as at the same time as like Tarantino. But I thought there was a lot of like comparisons between the way he writes his stuff with how Tarantino would write his stuff. I mean, a lot of Tarantino's movies, a lot of the scenes where there's dialogue, it's just really well written dialogue. These are a lot of conversations are had that are like really thought-provoking and really engaging. It's not like there's no filler in a Tarantino movie. Everything is integral to the plot. Everything is important for character development, and that's what I liked about Clerks. I watched it, I was like, man, it's such a Tarantino type of film because there's so many different conversations that are just so unique. The whole conversation about the Death Star and contractors that were working on it is one of my favorite parts in Clerks, because it's when the way the conversation plays out, it's just like, that's an interesting perspective. I mean, it really is. So whenever I hear that whole scene, I'm just like, that's fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah, and I know, after we got to Dogma, it started leaning in with Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and then Clerks 2 kind of it all leaned more into the dick and fart jokes. I know that's when a lot of people are like, he always lost his voice after this or that and the other, but it just depends. He made a really intelligent comedy with Clerks. Lightning doesn't always strike twice, for that matter, and either you're in or you're out. And sometimes when it comes to the way he writes, and a lot of it, guess what, is dick and fart jokes. I grew up on Beavis and Butthead as well too, so those are the kind of jokes that I like. I like nonsensical comedy that in some way still has either a moral or some sort of point to it. And typically, if you dig deep enough, a lot of his movies, even though even Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back or the sequel to that or Clerks 2, there's still something that there's still a message in there as well. Too.
Yeah, and that's you mentioned the dick and fart jokes, and those are definitely in there, and they're more prevalent the further you go on into his work. But he still has a way of focusing on pop culture and a lot of the conversations. Yeah, it's dick and fart jokes, but there is still, like you said, an underlining message, and there's a lot of references to pop culture and a lot of nods and homages to that as well. So I mean, that's why I like his stuff. He's very aware of what's going on and what's hot at the time. Dude, in Clerks 2, when my man comes in and they have the debate between what's the better trilogy, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings.
It's the best bit in that entire movie.
But again, because it's dick and fart jokes all around it. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, the conversation that they have, there's so much perspective that you're like, man, that's a good point.
Dante's a fucking piece of shit, and that's probably why I really like him. But he always. The thing is he's always honest and blunt. It's like Trevor in Grand Theft Auto. He's the craziest, most chaotic, wackiest character. But you know what? He's the most honest character in that game.
Yeah, no bullshit.
Dante is the most honest one. He's not. He's not Dante or Randall. Excuse me. I keep saying Dante. I mean Randall. I apologize. Randall is the most honest character in the show because he's the one that he's not trying to hide anything. He's not the one complaining, moping around, whining like Dante is half the time. Randall's just being the guy that's going to say it point blank to your face. So, I can't get enough of it. I'm really super, super excited for it. And man,
I like what, man, Jay McKenzie speaking from the soul. If someone doesn't like dick fart jokes in a movie, they can go fund, produce, film, cast, and sell their own dickless movie.
There you go.
That's a very Randall type of thing to say. That's very Randall of you.
He's been a little worked up today, so that's a good. I'm not surprised that he did swing out with that, but I do agree. So
he's on fire today.
He's definitely on fire today.
Okay, he's running in the red. I dig it. No, I think this trailer was good. It looked funny. I'll definitely be going to check it out with you. So. And I love Randall and Dante. Being I've been in the customer service industry before in the past. I understand. Much like Office Space, I can watch the first Clerks and be like, "Yup, can relate to that. Yup, can relate to that." And that's why I just feel like these movies are just so good because if you've ever been in retail or if you've ever been in customer service, customer-facing customer service. It's different, man.
Yep, it definitely gets you. You have in perspective, and that's what Forge Hammer was saying. Was when you worked at like a GameStop in the mall, or you worked in the mall, and you watch something like Mallrats. It's a combo perspective that you get, like that you don't realize. And I would say honestly, Mallrats, for all intents and purposes, which makes it interesting, is that this came out in the mid '90s when comics and that kind of stuff was still kind of taboo and nerdy, and nerd culture hadn't blown up yet. Yep. And now you look at it and look back on it and be like, well, this is like something that was kind of prophetic in that way in the time. So good. Hey, what's happening, Mark? What is it? Yeah, always here for the dick talk. That, you know it. Always here.
We're always here for the fart and dick jokes.
That's right.
What is the Patreon command? Ooh, I don't know if we have a Patreon command.
Oh, great.
I know.
Womp womp.
I don't have one. I'm a piece of shit. We'll
have him search for that.
Yeah, I'll get on that at some point, y'all. But I mean, like, hey, I know we do have some folks that do contribute to the Patreon, and we definitely appreciate that.
Very
Basically,
much so.
that goes right into the show. It allows us to go out and pick up games. Allows us to get better equipment for the show.
Correct.
But obviously, just being here is really all we need. We need you guys to go here. But if you ever want to
buy him a beer,
buy him a beer or a lap dance, you can always go through our Patreon. If you're on Twitch, there is a link down in the About Me section, I believe there is. There's a link for our Patreon. You can check it out there. We do appreciate the folks that do support us that way, but it's not something that we were going to be like, you got to fucking do it.
Whatever, buy me a beer.
Or buy him a beer. I mean, buy the guy a beer.
Piece of shit.
I mean, we only go to 99-cent beer night. Do we even have that anymore with inflation, or is like $2.99 the new 99-cent beer night?
No, that's a good question. You could probably still get some
I go to Baywood and still get $1 beer.
You might be able to find some 40s for 40 ounces.
Steel Reserve? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'll go bottom barrel, but I ain't going that bottom barrel.
There you go. Thanks, Cuddles. Appreciate that, brother. Buy him a beer, and maybe next month when I'm back in Michigan, Jay Hill's going to be here.
Yeah, I do.
Month.
Hopefully we can connect Jay Hill. Maybe we'd hit up Oracle and do some food or something.
I am working on a weekend in August to have people over for a cookout.
Okay.
And if Jay Hill's going to be here, we'll get him in.
That's right, Try North.
the Phantoms. Awesome.
The bombing Phantoms, yo.
All right. Let's move on to our next trailer. This dropped yesterday, and, who gives a shit, but let's see.
Let's go. Come and get me, motherfucker.
All right.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
I'm glad every one of those people got killed when he comes back at the end for somewhere, because it's all the same idiots that are standing around him that were like, evil dies tonight. Remember, he jet leaves his way out of the entire situation and kills everybody.
Okay.
No, Rohit, it's bad. The second one is bad. The first one was good until we got to the doctor's motive. Then it turned really stupid, but it was overall a nice reboot. I liked the first one for a lot of reasons. I just didn't like the doctor's motivation and how it was presented in the movie. I felt that was like the weakest part of it. It was a kind of a big step back in the overall progression of the movie. But overall, I thought it was a decent Halloween movie. The second one's fucking trash. The second one is really, really, really fucking trash. It's so poorly done. It's got a terrible story. Everybody that dies deserved to die. And the way they handled the legacy characters was a fucking travesty. We've seen so many movies handle legacy characters so much better. We've seen TV shows, Cobra Kai, other movies that are handling legacy characters better. We had Chief Brackett from the first Halloween come back to this one. He had a couple lines at the hospital and then gets fucking killed at the end because he's one of the idiots just standing around Michael not doing anything while he kills everybody. I was just like, what the fuck do you have? The last 5 minutes of that last Halloween movie are just beyond fucking stupid. It's just like, what the hell just happened? And I'm still hoping that there's it was kind of a dream or some shit, but I don't think Laurie Strode's daughter is even cast in this movie. I don't think she's in it. Her name escapes me at the moment, but we did see her granddaughter is in it still. We did see Will Patton return, which I thought he got fucking killed in the first one, but Will Patton is back in this one, which I'm fine with. Will Patton's awesome. I'm banking on Michael's mask being a silver shamrock. Dude, love to see a little Halloween 3 crossover there. That'd be pretty sweet. But here we are, man. You know, like, look, Halloween Ends. The first one wasn't the best of Halloween movies, but it was a good effort. The second one was shit. And here we are, Halloween Ends. John Carpenter came out recently and said, this one is a lot different from the Halloween movies that you know. So who the fuck knows what that means? You know, we know there is a bit of a time jump in this one. That's all we know about that. But when John Carpenter comes on and says, this is a little bit different than what you're used to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to interpret that.
What's he doing later in life now?
He does the music. Does the music and he produces it. I mean, he's going to get his money. But I mean, John Carpenter, I thought he died. Hey man, he's old. I mean, he's old.
Yeah.
But a lot different. So you mean a good movie? Cuddles, that maybe, dude, if that's what John Carpenter's referencing, then I'll take his word for it. And I hope so. I hope it's a good movie. I'm going to go see it. But my expectations are fucking right down here because of how poorly the second one was done.
Sounds like potentially, actually, the crew at Koi's Comics might be getting an event for this. Like,
oh, they're going to do this one.
They usually do the 30 days of horror movies, or 31 days of horror movies to watch. So
okay, all right.
You watch one every night of the.
Well, hey, if I'm going to go roll with Koi's Comics, I'll go see this fucking movie.
That's why I look at it. Like, I would care. I don't even want to see the movie, but I'll go with them.
I mean, I like Jamie Lee's arc in the first one. I like, she's barely in the second one. She's barely in the second one, which was a huge fucking mistake. And then, it's not on Paramount. Nope. This is in theaters, man. No, not coming to. No, actually, was it Paramount? No, it was Peacock. I think it was on Peacock where it came to. I don't think it was Paramount where it came to.
So this isn't a True Lies crossover.
It is not a True Lies crossover.
No Tom Arnold.
No, we're not going to see Arnie show up. So, look, it's whatever at this point. I'm not expecting anything. I mean, cool trailer. We get to see Jamie Lee Curtis say, "Come and get me, motherfucker," and she stabs him in the. I do want to see. Nope, I will be seeing that this weekend.
What are you doing Sunday?
Ooh, yeah. What are you doing Sunday? It was fucking Peacock. I'm still paying for that shit. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. You sign up for Halloween Kills, and then you forget to, and there you are 6 months later. You're like, I'm still fucking paying for it. That's on you.
Also, by the way, some of the reviews are coming out for Nope, and they're really good.
Yeah, it's sitting. I think last time I saw it was 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm excited for it, man. I just watched Get Out again the other night. That was on TV. Get Out is still just a fucking
midday Razu.
Yeah, we are.
Get Out's awesome,
and you should come with us.
Oh,
Tone's bringing his custom bucket.
Yeah, you can put your PP in the bucket this time.
They just need to bring Buster back. Yeah, let's get Buster Rhymes back, and they bring that like
H2O.
What'd you say? Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I think so.
Oh, no, just
wasn't LL Cool J in that?
No, he was in H2O.
Oh, it's H2O.
Buster Rhymes is in Resurrection.
Jesus Christ, fucking movies.
Yeah, not good. They could feed me crappy Halloween movies for the rest of my life, and I would be happier than seeing more Scream movies. Man, Gray, I don't know. Like, I actually thought the last Scream was good. I don't have too many issues with the Scream movies. I do have issues with Halloween's 5, the Curse of Michael Myers, especially because they really pushed the Thorn trilogy and the Thorn storyline, which was really fucking stupid. H2O was good. Resurrection was trash. The Rob Zombie ones are garbage. They're not good movies. The first reboot was a decent Halloween movie. The last one was really bad. I don't know, man. I feel like Scream's been more consistent across the board. I mean, say what you will between Halloween 4, 5, 6, and H2O and Resurrection. Some hit or misses in there, but I feel like Scream has been a little bit more consistent across the board.
Yeah, I liked the last Scream. I was surprised in how well it kind of like encompassed everything, I suppose. But like some of the ones in between, like
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Nev not coming back for Scream 6, but it sounds like it's more or less because they didn't want to fucking pay her, which is stupid. I mean, she's the face of the fucking franchise. I mean, she really is. I'm sorry, Nev Campbell is Scream. Could you ever make me a list of top 10 horror films of all time? Good question, Freezy. Top 10 horror films of all time. I'd have to take some time to think about it, but I can't do a list tonight, but I will have that list for you next week.
Right.
I will. I'm going to do that for you, Freezy. I'm going to do a top 10 horror films. He won't because he doesn't like scary movies. But I'll definitely make you a list. I'll make you a list and I'll throw it up next week because I do love me some horror movies.
Cool.
I'm trying to think right now. I would have Killer Clowns from Outer Space at number 2 because that's terrifying. Horror bracket. Ooh, I do like a horror bracket. Anything Rob Zombie on is anything Rob Zombie is on dude's list, man. Fuck that. Isn't the Scream Mask the face of the franchise? I mean, it's Ghostface is
it's
the
a joke.
It's not wrong.
He didn't. Sorry, it went over his head.
Is Event Horizon
It was
a
a
horror
funny joke.
movie?
I like that joke.
It is. Event Horizon is a horror movie.
And Thing definitely is an amazing horror movie.
Cosmic horror for sure. Horror is a tough one because there are so many different styles. There is.
a good point.
There's comedy horror. Trick or Treat is great too. Trick or Treat has a huge cult following. Let me see. The Thing better be on that list. The Thing is an amazing movie. Event Horizon is really good. Bone Tomahawk is criminally underrated. Sleepaway Camp, we did watch that. Bone Tomahawk, again, one of those movies where it's a really, really slow burn, but it's well acted, and the final like 10 minutes are just like holy fucking shit good. Like just it makes such a hard left turn that you're not expecting, and you're just like, damn. It's pretty wild. Event Horizon, I mean, a lot of love for all the Club Dread. I mean, okay. Moving on to the next trailer.
Trigger.
Let's check out the trailer for Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
There was a time when the world was so young. There had not yet been a sunrise. But even then, there was light.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect. Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel. Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
You have not seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen what I have seen.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
I must wander this wandering day.
All right, Tone.
They have a cave troll. Listen, I'm really excited, but I am definitely got some apprehension. It looks good. Quality looks really good.
Yeah, they're not cutting any costs here.
And certainly, whereas the Lord of the Rings, like the normal books and the Hobbit, are well known for most people. Even if maybe you necessarily didn't read them, you were aware of certain things, and you watched the movies, and you could at least have some basis for comparison. This is going to be a lot different for a lot of people. This is, more second age. You hear some things referenced, some things that happened. A lot of things that happen in the second age are the reason why things happen in the beginning of the third age, or I guess technically the end of the second age in the Lord of the Rings, right? And Rohit, you can correct me on that, because now he's a big fan as well too. He's a little bit more deeper in the knowledge of the Lord than even I am. So we can lean into him for a little bit of this as well too. So you don't think it's you don't think they have the rights? See, I thought they had full rights. That's something I wonder. To the first to the second age. So this is, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is more of like, beginning of the second age, moving into the Rings of Power. So my guess is, and it kind of alluded to, it looks like that's when Sauron forges the rings and starts handing them out to everybody. So do we think we're going to see like Morgoth or anything like that as well too? Because technically at this time, like Sauron was, Morgoth was around, and he was like an actual, I don't know if agent's the right word, but a worshiper, follower. Hobbits aren't even supposed to be part of it yet, or forest folk. So elves either, or you mean just the elves? The forest folk generally. Okay.
Jay Hill says, I've never seen any of these movies. I need to spend a day watching them.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Extended cuts, brother. Days.
They do show a couple trees as well too. So yeah, the Hobbit's okay. So, I think, and I don't think he's alone in this. There's certainly some folks out there that are very concerned, because I'm surprised if they can do this without rights, truth be told, but I guess maybe they can. But I thought they had the Tolkien family involved in the grace in this one. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. But I'm certainly going to watch it and give it a watch through. I think this would be something good. When does it start?
September 2nd.
So this would be something good. We get through the series or watch some episodes. That'd be a good time to get Rohit on too, to kind of.
Hey, there you go, Rohit.
Keep that in mind sometime late fall or early fall.
We'll touch base. Now, I don't know, is this going to be a full drop? Are they going to drop them all? No, it's a weekly thing?
They do weekly.
Okay. So what we'll do, Rohit, is maybe, how should we handle that? Should we just have him about halfway and
maybe we can get him on halfway, and then maybe at the end to kind of wrap it up and see where his thoughts are with it.
I think that'd be a good idea. Ain't the Mocha Skin Manimal the only one who read the Silmarillion?
He's certainly read the Silmarillion, and I've gotten about halfway through. It's a tough fucking read. It's very intriguing, but it's a tough read.
No, I think that'd be a really good time to have him on. Maybe like midway through the season. Yeah. Once we kind of get an idea of where they're heading with it, and we figured out what liberties they've taken without having the full rights to it, and see if there's any issues that he has. But I would love to get him on for that. And then again, once the season ends,
I think
get his final thoughts on that. So yeah, Rohit, let's make that happen, dude. Like to get you in here and get your thoughts on that stuff. Like I said, I can sit here and talk about Lord of the Rings. I had a good time with it. But there are just people out there like you with Star Wars and him with this, like that just they know that deeper level. Yeah, and that's the shit that I like to hear. That's the stuff. Those are the perspectives I want to get. So we'll definitely get Rohit on to have a talk about it. But no, I thought it was an effective trailer. It was a good trailer. The show looks good. Like I said, they're not cutting any cost. Bezos is going all in on it. So whether or not it's good, we'll watch it and find out for ourselves, and then we'll obviously get the man, the myth, the legend, Rohit on here, and we'll get his take as well. So should be really, really interesting. Now, obviously, that's not the only big fantasy show coming out this fall. That's the big one. That's one of the big ones. But we just got the trailer today for the first spinoff of Game of Thrones. Let's check out the trailer for House of the Dragon.
He's afoot. The dream. It was clearer than a memory. And I heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords. And I placed my heir upon the Iron Throne. And all the dragons roared as one. I consider the matter urgent. That of your succession.
Who else would have a claim?
The firstborn child.
Rhaenyra. No queen has ever sat the Iron Throne.
The king has an heir, Daemon Targaryen.
I will not be made to choose between my brother and my daughter.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged. Knives will come out.
You are the king. Your duty is to take a new wife.
I have decided to name a new heir. I'm your heir. War is afoot.
Do you think the realm will ever accept me as their queen?
A woman would not inherit the Iron Throne, because that is the order of things.
When I'm queen, I will create a new order.
Your family has dragons. They are a power men should never have trifled with.
If Rhaenyra comes into power, she could cut off any challenge to her succession.
I am to inherit the Iron Throne. She will block my way.
Our hearts remain as one.
Oh, our hearts were never one. Have you never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne? Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? Now they see you as you are.
All right, man. Now, Game of Thrones is a very, very touchy subject for a lot of people. Even still
Rightfully
to this day.
Rightfully so.
Still to this day, there's a lot of folks who are still feeling the pain of that final season of Game of Thrones. This is another one that I hope that they don't stray too far from the lore. Hopefully it has some heart and isn't giant soulless money grab. I mean, look, there's a lot of ways that this could go. I mean, like, look, there's a lot of fear and rightfully so. I mean, we saw, look, the showrunners for Game of Thrones fucking were on a roll. The first 6-7 seasons. They were on a roll. But then they had to kind of deviate from the book because they didn't have a book. They kind of had to start making their own shit up. And for the most part, they did pretty good. Now, whether or not they got lazy or it was that fucking Disney bullshit going on where they were going, hey, man, we'd like you guys to do Star Wars.
No,
or
I don't think they know what to do.
At the time, they got an offer.
Oh, I remember that. No, I just think that I just don't think they knew what to do.
And they just kind of we're like, let's wrap this shit up and let's go. I mean, look, the final season is what it is. There was a lot of undercooked storylines, a lot of shitty fucking arcs that came. It felt incredibly rushed. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, when you're making a show like this and somebody leaves a fucking Starbucks cup on a table or an Aquafina bottle on the ground, it's very lax. We're no longer worried about the authenticity and the fucking integrity of the show. We're done with it. We're just trying to wrap this shit up. And you look at some of the characters and how they get pieced out. Like, I watched a couple scenes about a month ago. I watched Theon Greyjoy die. I was like, really? That he just charges at the fucking Night King?
Yeah, a guy that has like these crazy arcs and redemptions and
and I'm just gonna run at the Night King with a spear and just get fucking killed. I was just like, this is it?
And even when you look at it, like, the Night King was the imposing threat nearly the entire time.
Yeah,
he gets pieced out, and it's like there's no they just like forget about it. Like, oh, the Night King's dead.
Yeah, Night King's dead. Let's move on and let's have
see you later, guys.
Cersei and fucking Jaime die at the bottom. It's like, come on.
Yeah, that's how they. Yeah, after all that was our climax. By the way, we have her rise as this villain the entire time. Our climax is like
oh, I love you, Jaime.
Like, I get the symbolism there, but fucking bore me to death. Listen, I'll never forget when Cappadocian, Forge Hammer, and Jay McKenzie and I were living over on Noah Court. Cappadocian comes upstairs out of his hole one day and says, hey, in about 2 weeks on HBO, they got this new show coming out called Game of Thrones. It's based off these books, blah, blah, blah. We should watch it. We watched that first episode, and all of us were like, right? So we were instantly hooked. And by the third episode, everybody in the house had their banners. Everybody was either one house or another. I was Targaryen, no doubt, right away, instantly. I'm like, House Targaryen, that's my banner, right? So by fire and blood all day. But so the entire time watching the series, like, you're seeing this crazy arc with Daenerys, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not going to continue to talk about that because we all know how that ended. We know how that went, blah, blah, blah. My hope and my excitement for this is, for one, DB and Dan aren't involved in this.
Right, they're not here.
They're not involved. HBO certainly isn't going to put money back into something that they know. Because when you look at all their other series, there's maybe like 99% of them are all like either really well renowned or they've got a lot of secret stuff you've never seen that's really good. Very little things that HBO owns or has their hand into comes out as a turd,
or or even a money grab. Like
they don't want that image. So if they want to get rid of that image, what do? Okay, well, let's wait some time and then let's revisit. Okay, well, here's a prequel era that there's not a lot of stuff that ties to the the main series, which is good. There'll be some callbacks and things like that, sure. But this focuses on a lot of people's favorite because you're going to have dragons, you know. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. So for somebody like me who's a fan of the Targaryen family, like it's going to be all Targaryen, you know. So a lot of things when they were in control, you know, many moons prior. So it's I don't think it's necessarily a blank slate. I know there's some lore out there as well too, which I know is important, and certainly I do agree with that. It's the same thing with like the Lord of the Rings. However, I do feel like that if HBO is going to do this again, that they really are going to take very good care of it, because I think they want to make sure that, hey, and we know the Jon Snow one's coming out now too. If they're going to be greenlighting this, they want this to be able to maybe return it to its glory.
And make up a little bit too.
They have to do something, because when you look back, I can't think of any other TV show, like whether it's Cobra Kai, whether it's, the Bel Air, anything in the last decade that was a complete household success worldwide. That people were literally, millions of people at one time every Sunday at 9 p.m. were watching a show on HBO. And this was it. This became a household name in just a few seasons. You know, there's like, even if you didn't really watch it very often, like Jay Hill or knew something about it, he still watched The Red Wedding. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things out there that they need to do to try. They want that glory back because they were making money. They were making bank. They were rolling it. Look at the way the production moved by the end of the fucking seventh season.
Yeah.
You know, so they know that they've got a glass cannon in their hands. They got to be very careful.
Yeah.
And I think now, with that said, with this, I think the big thing that's going to happen with the Jon Snow series that we've got announced as well too, which I'm also excited for. Like, listen, I know that the Game of Thrones ended terribly. I understand that, but I love this mythos. I love this world. If I can get more of it and we can restore some glory and maybe some more, I'm on board for it. You know, if the right people are involved. Jon Snow, clearly, we know Kit Harington really loved the character. He was one of the highlights. His ending, while I don't necessarily agree that it was the worst ending for him. It's not what everybody wanted to see, but we got to remember it's Game of Thrones, and I don't want to get in that discussion either. But if we can get more of him being Kit Harington, being Jon Snow on the Wall, or going to the north, taking the black, and we all know Tyrion's alive. There's a lot of other characters.
Tyrion's alive. Who was the one that loved the giant woman? Tormund.
Tormund. So we know these characters are alive. So if it's Jon Snow and Tormund, and once in a while Tyrion on a show, and D.B. Weiss and Dan aren't involved, and maybe J.R.R. Martin sitting, eating a donut somewhere, okay, fine. But like, maybe we can do something with it, and that's what HBO wants to do, and I think they understand that. They're not going to greenlight these two shows knowing what happened before if they're going to put out two more turds, because guess what? If they've been able to erase some of that tarnish and be quiet about Game of Thrones, because they haven't talked about it. They haven't talked about it in years, right?
Right. No, they've been very quiet about it.
They know what they're doing, So I think we got to understand that HBO knows what they're getting into, and I'm going to guess this time they've got the proper things in place to make sure this shit don't happen again. Because if they got to be more heavy-handed in it, so be it. Give me some more Game of Thrones.
If they, the thing that bums me out about the Jon Snow thing is if Tyrion's in it, that makes one of my favorite character arcs that came to a close in that last season was Varys. That was one of the hardest ones. The eunuch that how he was always like that scene with where like Daenerys is like, want him torched, we're gonna burn him with the dragon, and right before that, like Tyrion standing by Daenerys, and he's just like, fuck it, he just walks up and he's like, shakes his hand. I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome, because those guys were always so. I wanted a spin-off where Tyrion and Varys is going around doing shit and talking. I just wanted to see those two guys talking and scheming, and their interactions were so good. And now that we know there's a Jon Snow show coming out and Tyrion could possibly be there, man, That makes me sad.
Yeah, didn't it? And like I said, like Varys that was my favorite character in that series.
He was amazing, dude.
That was the
He
Spider was
awesome.
my favorite character. Tyrion was in my top 3. Tyrion and Daenerys, those are my 3 favorite characters. Go figure, they're all Targaryen side, right? But like I said, man, I know you even kind of said that out there too. Like he's kind of in that mindset, but we hope it's good.
I hope it's good.
But again, what we're made to be seen. But I do feel like that they're going to be heavy-handed in this. They don't have a choice to be because.
Is MsMarvel later? I can call at the end for that. Actually, we're gonna do MsMarvel right now. That's what we're moving on to. We're moving to MsMarvel.
Is that it for trailers?
That's it for trailers. Yeah, we did We did.
There was 4. Was that 3?
was 4. House of Dragon was the last one.
I can't count.
We did Clerks, Halloween, Lord of the Rings.
I can't count.
Game of Thrones. That's
fucking cool,
4.
man.
That's 4. All right, now time to talk about the season review of MsMarvel.
And if you haven't finished this and you are worried about spoilers, yes, mute, walk away for a little bit. We are going to pull it back. We did finish it. Of course, the finale was last week. So, we're trying to usually wait a week after a series is done before at this point we'll kind of blow open the spoilers. During the process of these series, as you know now, we're trying to stay away from spoilers. We'll kind of blow it open at the end.
Yeah. So we'll jump into it here a little bit and talk about, just our overall impressions, what we thought with the story, with the character itself, and some of the stuff that happened in that final episode that is interesting.
Couple
things were interesting. All right, Forge. Have a good night, buddy. Thanks for hanging out, man. MsMarvel, 6 episodes, available now on Disney Plus, has come and gone. It's starring Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, who is, by the way, this was her first acting gig ever.
Period.
Ever.
She's in for the long haul.
She's in for the long haul, and I think she made a hell of a first impression. Matt Lintz as Bruno, Zenobi Shroff as Manivi Khan, Mohan Kapoor as Yusuf Khan, Nimra Buka as Namja, and Rish Shah as Kamaran. This was directed by a plethora of directors. We had Adil El Arbi, Balil Falah, Mira Manan, and Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. And dude, this show was really good. Going into it, I expected this to be a little bit lighter because I thought this was more kid-centric. It's made for the kids to enjoy a little bit. And for the most part...
He only messed up one cherry.
How many times did you have to practice those names? Dude, honestly, I think I mostly spitballed most of those. I'm just looking at them, and I'm doing the best I can to be respectful and accurate. No, Freezy, I won't do it again. That's a one-time thing. That's
no, King.
No. Nobody could have done it. No, I would not have been able to do it last week. That would have been a disaster. But no, overall, dude, this was a very well done coming of age story. It does a great job of balancing the struggles of finding your place in an ever evolving world. And Kamala's backstory was really, really good. The build up where she comes from and her heritage and the struggle of being Muslim in America and dealing with that from a female's perspective. And there was actually some pretty good action in this show as well. We've talked about some of the Disney Plus offerings and the quality of the action, whether it's Star Wars or MCU. I actually felt like they did a pretty good job with action for being a kid-centric show. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're not getting a whole lot of ultra violence, but we saw some knives getting pierced through people, but there was a specific one I liked, the chase through Karachi. That was actually a really, really well done sequence. When they started speeding up the cars, I was like, oh shit, here we go with the dodgy CGI. It was actually a really well done action sequence. So for being a show that's focused more so on the coming of age story of Kamala Khan, there is some really good action to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat to be like, yeah, hey, don't forget now, this is a Marvel show. We gotta have some action. But Iman Vellani is really, 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 really good as Kamala Khan, and for being her first acting gig, I thought she brought fresh perspective to this origin story, not only as a Muslim, but from a female's perspective. She brings a lot of energy and genuine naivety to the character. I believed in her the entire time. Like, she was just very sweet and endearing, and she was embracing her role, and she really wanted to find a way to have an impact in this world, in this country, for her people. And to see her kind of grow into that character, man, it was really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think a big piece of that, and a lot of people said, first of all, it's rated like higher than a lot of MCU things.
I think it is the highest rated show right now,
which is wild to think, and you can take that for face value. But I definitely feel like one of the things that worked was that she wasn't like a big name actress or somebody who's been acting for a while, because this character is very naive in that way, and it just made it felt natural because it was her first gig. Like she wasn't trying to pretend or overact, or she felt like
she's being herself, just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah, she's playing a younger. She's young. She's 18 or 19, but she's playing a younger version of her actual age, and she just kind of fit into that really well. Listen, as much of a piece of shit that I am most of the time, I really, really, especially when it comes to stories, as we know, I like slow burns. I like things with heart. This had a lot of heart. This had a lot of I thought maybe it would have some heart, but I was surprised at how much heart it actually ended up having. It was like you said, it was very endearing. I was engaged the entire time. There were times her father was so great in this. Like her dad was just amazing. I forget his name, who played her father, but he was one of my favorite in here because there were some moments where she kind of she's being the angsty kid, and she was shutting her parents out, and they care they clearly
trying to
clearly
connect
cared.
with her.
Yeah, and that's one thing about this show was that it's so much about family, friends, community, relationships, and because it is kid centric, it's definitely something that I think all kids should watch because it definitely it's a coming of age in a way as well too. But a lot of these shows we see the hints of family with Hawkeye and how even him and Natalie are together or Natalia. Things of that nature, but you don't really get a whole lot of great breakdown. I mean, WandaVision was so busy doing wonky stuff, like you couldn't see that, right?
Right.
This was very, very family centric, and just you just didn't see a whole. You haven't seen a whole lot of those kind of things in the MCU, and so for me, it just gave this entirely different perspective. Like, okay, so she's got this thing that does this stuff that this is fun, and I know this character when it originally came out definitely. Didn't win over a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just don't enjoy diversity, and that's a whole other topic, of course, as well too. I like diversity. I like perspective, and there's an episode where they go to Pakistan, and it was just to me, it was my favorite episode because
really good.
You got a lot of great interactions and different
lots of cultural stuff.
Yeah, a lot of cultural stuff. This is a lot of the reason why I think some of us enjoyed Moon Knight as well too. Is because it was. Very
I think that's
deep
what they're
in the
doing
Egyptian-
really, really well so far this phase. Not only with the shows, but the movies as well.
Yeah, the characters are getting more diverse. They're really kind of leaning into some of that culture and why what drives these characters. And this show really did that. And I thought that was why it had a lot of heart. And I was really engaged in it. The dialogue, the writing. Honestly, for this having such a high rating, I kind of get it. It's not overly adult. It doesn't have a lot of adult themes. The action is surprisingly well. It's not overly pushing that limit. You don't see ninjas coming out. Well, I mean, kind of.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people aren't just a fan of the character. Some folks were introduced in the Avengers game, and that was really annoying. You're absolutely correct. This is not that character, but as we progress through the entire story, it's really less about her being a superhero and just finding her place in the world. And like I said, that's a unique way to tell that story. And man, I was really here for it. I really every time every episode ended, I was like, fuck, I kind of want more. That's how you know you're getting hooked. So, yeah, I know. yeah. The dad was great. Like I said, there's a scene where she kind of bums him out, and you're if you don't near cry in that scene, you're probably a cold-hearted bastard.
It's harsh. He tries to connect with her in a meaningful way. Going through the stuff that she loves with Marvel or what's it called? Is it MarvelCon?
Avengers Con. Yeah.
And he tries to connect with her, and you're just oh, that's cool. He's trying, and then she shoots it down. You're just
yeah, it was really fucking cool. But
harsh.
But at the end of the day, no, I super enjoyed this, and I think everybody should give this a watch through, even if you don't like the character, even if you don't like the character from the game, whatever it might be. This definitely, compared to all the other the MCU shows, I would say it's right up there with Loki to me, if not even higher at this point. Loki's just big because it really pushed the movie MCU in a different direction and kind of opened up some of those storylines in a procedural line. But this this has like kind of almost, I don't want to say necessarily standalone, but it does kind of exist in its own world, and rightfully so, and it's done really well. So I really encourage you to watch it. If you got kids, watch it with them or have them watch it. I think it's really worthwhile. I'll tell you what to do all day, bitch. I'll
oh my,
slap your teeth down the back of your throat even.
He says that now while you're on the other side of the internet.
He shows up with a chair. But other than that, really the so there was a couple things going through this series that were hints to certain things, and also, you know, I had called this, and I don't remember if anybody remembers this, but I had called this a while. I said it to somebody that I had a feeling we were going to get a cameo in this, and that cameo did come true. So if you don't want to know the cameo, if you don't care, I'm going to tell you anyways. The cameo comes at the end of the show, and then we'll jump back to the big piece, which was huge, is that Brie Larson comes back and reprises the role as Captain Marvel, which they've done in the comics. So, because that's at first it was confusing because MsMarvel can turn into Carol Danvers. Goddamn, my brain. And like can like look at her. So at first people were like, oh, did she look at her? And I was right away. I'm like, no, they just flipped places. And sure enough, she confirmed like a few days after, like, oh yeah, we flipped places because the Marvels is coming out soon. And those two, of course, are going to be in it. There's going to be a connection there. So that was actually Carol Danvers, and that was really exciting to see that. And I had a feeling, like I said, that we were going to see her. But the big piece, the big amazing reveal,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet how they dropped it in, and then they kind of quickly jumped away from it.
Because originally they thought, okay, well. So this character, when the character originally came out, was in the comics. When it came out, she was an Inhuman. Now, at the time, Marvel was trying to kind of dial back in the mutant stuff in comics because they wanted to choke out the fact that X-Men and Fox had those properties. So they almost wanted to make it look like that the mutants and X-Men could be forgot, right? Because everybody wanted eventually them to get Fox and have those characters back. It was a big deal to a lot of us. So, you know, a lot of us knew what was going on. So this character came out as an Inhuman, and that started kind of the Inhumans, which was, they're similar to mutants. They get they got this this DNA in them from like the race, the Kree. Terrigen Mist pops and it unlocks these special abilities, things in that nature. Black Bolt that we saw recently in the Multiverse of Madness, to get my words out, is also probably the most well-known of Inhumans. So she wasn't in this show, and that was kind of like a lot of people were like, oh, what the fuck, because she's not human. Well, the braces are giving her power. Everybody's like, oh, that's kind of fucking weird too. Well,
turns out it's
because she does have an ability or something in her DNA. She has a mutation in her DNA. So they once again said, well, I think this is like the first time they really closely in the actual Disney MCU said mutant. I mean, we've had hints of mutants in Black Widow and things like that nature, but this is the first time that we're getting a main character that is now considered a mutant, which is really exciting. And here's the kicker for a lot of people that may not know this as well too. Originally, this character was supposed to be a mutant when she was released in the comics, but they made her an Inhuman because, again, they wanted to like pretend the mutants didn't exist in the comics, so people would forget about the movies and not care about the X-Men. So it's just really neat that
they're making an effort to be like, we're not going Inhuman, we're going mutants.
Yeah, they're retconning their original retcon kind of thing. So it's like, so it's kind of come full circle. So and she does embiggen at the end, which is really great too. She gets the big feet and the
that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
To do that. It's just different from the game and different from the comics a little bit, but now we know that full circle. She might technically be like, as far as a main character or character on the big screen that we see, the MCU's true first mutant, technically, like in that sense that comes into their banner.
That's wild to think about too, because they do it in a show. I don't want to say it's not their most popular show. It's been one of the best received shows up to this point, but kind of an obscure show. I mean, this isn't. It was, people were excited about this. You and I were excited about this, but I mean, I don't think this generated the same hype as like Moon Knight or Loki.
No, for sure.
But to have something that is somewhat of a megaton, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, for him to come out and be like, there was a mutation,
right? Because we saw
that's huge.
Yeah, we saw Professor X. We know clearly he's a mutant, but he was in a different multiverse. So it's almost like, does it really matter if it's not in our multi? Well, now we know we have an actual mutant. I mean, we, like I said, we heard something in Black Widow about one of the they name drop a mutant from Russia or whatever it is, but to be able to have like this character do this, and this is kind of like, okay, well, you saw a mutant, and now here we go. There is one here. Now that means, okay, well, if you've got one in your DNA, who else has them, right? So pretty exciting. And what made it more exciting was just like when Professor X came out in the movie, they played a little bit of the 97 X-Men jingle when he announced that she had a mutation. So if that's not a big indication of what she is.
If that's not a nod, I don't know what is, dude.
Right. So pretty sweet, pretty cool. And like, again, overall, a lot of fun stuff. But, here we are. This is... we finally come full circle, and it was a great show. So
Crash says, in the comics, Kamala had thought she was a mutant as well, but later learned she was actually an Inhuman, so the door isn't closed on the Inhumans, but as of now, it really seems like she's going to be a mutant in the MCU. I'm going to get you on here in a second, Cuddles. I want to mention what Jay Hill said. He goes, dumb American. I honestly had no idea about the partition and what they went through. I thought that episode was really cool, too. Obviously, the one when they go to Karachi was really, really good, but when we do the time jump, to go back to Aisha and Namja when they were basically back, we get the whole part of the story that they talked about, the grandma and the mom, I was lost and I had to find my dad, da-da-da. We actually got to see all that and see how Kamala was actually a huge part of that with the time jump. But yeah, we got to see a lot of the stuff that was going on during the partition, the struggle that was going on there. And again, that's a testament to a show that can somehow take these things that we aren't too familiar with and work it into a story in an integral way. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what makes it really, really interesting. Did they do the Inhumans
Yes.
already? It didn't do well or something? Yeah, what was that show called?
So, it's called The Inhumans.
Inhumans.
But that was technically tied to the Loeb TV show as well. Now, all the TV shows are technically a multiversal canon. They did do Inhumans, yes. It was led through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's how we ended up with, like, Black Bolt and all these characters as well, too, and Quake, who was their, in-show Inhuman. And I love the Inhumans. I love Black Bolt. I love the first family, well, not the first family, but like the Inhumans family there. But it's not technically canon, right? So in the Black Bolt we got, which was played by the same guy, of course, is more true to the comics, Black Bolt as well too. But yeah, it's still the door is still there for the Inhumans if they want to do that. But it's kind of like they're Dutch dooring it. Like they didn't want to talk about mutants like over a decade ago because Fox still had them. And now they don't want to talk about Inhumans because the run with Inhumans was so bad. Yeah, like cataclysmically bad. As somebody who watched the entire show, it's not good at all.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. We're going to get Cuddles on right now. Bear with me for just a moment. This is always kind of a clusterfuck, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to go here. Turn that on.
Fuck is Brian tonight, by the way?
Yeah, where is Brian tonight? I don't even want to know. He was talking about socks earlier in the Discord, so
we're seeing it right now.
I'm really concerned about that. But let's see if I'm on. Cuddles, you got your mute on still? There he is. Cuddles, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
There he is. We got you. We got you loud and clear. What's going on, buddy? What you got?
Oh, not much. Something I've been thinking about. First off, I do want to say I really enjoyed MsMarvel since we're wrapping up on that. This was the conversation I had with my buddy. We watched Thor Ragnarok this weekend.
Ooh.
I had this conversation with my buddy. I had
Love and Thunder or Ragnarok?
Wait, yeah, which one?
Ragnarok? Not Ragnarok. Love and Thunder.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I've been drinking.
Me too.
Yeah. I had the conversation with Drastin a little bit as well, but I know a lot of the stuff we've been wrapping up on the former phase, but we have a lot of stuff from the new phase now. MsMarvel, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, whatever. Like, where is this phase going? Like, how do y'all feel about it? Like, I don't know where it's going. Like, by this time and before, like we already knew Thanos and we've heard about him, we've talked about him, we've had a villain. Like, where are we going on this? And I wanted to kind of catch y'all off guard on this one and get y'all's opinion.
That's a great question.
Sure it is.
Cuddles. It is a great question. You know what? And I can't help but think, I talked about this last week, and I remember getting shot down and
he
yelled
might have been
at.
Sleeping. To be fair.
No, man, I'm with look, I'm with you, man, and I mean, I'm sure Tone can appreciate it to some degree. I mean, we did have kind of an idea where we were going, and I do feel like right now with all these shows, all the setup and the end credit scenes are, to me, anyways, seem like they're more focused on the universe of that particular character and whatever we saw, kind of like whatever the story was in that particular movie and where that character is heading. We didn't have this overarching like storyline unfolding in the process. You know, we always kind of got hints to Thanos or the Stones or something like that at the end of the movies in the previous phases that kind of just led us along the way to all these other characters and all the other movies, but there was an overarching path. We just don't have that right now. Now, if that's a part of the the end game of this phase, then that's don't roll your eyes. That was clever as shit. That took me an hour to write that
Low-hanging
up.
fruit, dude. Cool.
But no, like seriously, like I don't know where it's going, and I agree with you, Cuddles. I'm trying to figure out that as well. I'm trying to be open-minded so Tone doesn't yell and scream at me. But I'm with you, man. I would like to know where we're going, but if this is a part of like a strategic way of handling things that's different than the first phases, I trust them. But I am a little eager. But maybe once it delivers and pays out, then I'll understand. Oh, cool. They're just doing things differently.
So here's
I'm not.
Go ahead.
No. Well, I'm not saying they're doing anything bad. Let me say that off the bat. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Doctor Strange movie. I didn't completely hate it, but I've enjoyed most of the stuff they've done up to this point with the characters they've introduced, MsMarvel, among others. But I just want to know where are we going? Like, where are we heading at? Like, we're introducing 7 billion characters. Like, we're pulling a DC over here with no end.
So I think you were sleeping the other night when this all came out, and so I'm gonna try and do this really.
Yeah, maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he did see it. But we had a huge meltdown at the end of the show.
I know he didn't. So here's the thing I think that's skewing everybody's perspective. First of all, we didn't know about Thanos till many years into the MCU. They were building for the Avengers to team up. We didn't know what for, but originally that first buildup was for Loki attacking New York. Now, yes, he was being puppeteered at some point. We figured out by Thanos as well too, but we didn't really know what was going to happen with Thanos. They took X amount of years from 2008, 2009, starting with Iron Man, to building the Avengers to we didn't know what. So keep in mind, we didn't know about Thanos for, let's say, I mean, I don't remember the timeline, but I'm sure you can look it up when Thanos was first acknowledged, reference, or a Power Stone or whatever, or the Gauntlet or anything. It was years. So we are not even a year from when Shang-Chi and Eternals have released, and we're coming up on it now too. So, but we also got to remember we're getting skewed right now because we have so much content that we've gotten from D+ that it feels like it's been more than just a year. And while it is kind of to a degree, because Black Widow was kind of like a backtrack, and we had some D+ things early like WandaVision and stuff like that, but overall, when it comes to the movies, for not just casual fans, we still haven't really gotten to that time frame yet. We're still within a year. So again, because of all this content, we're looking at it kind of from the wrong angle. Whereas the early MCU was building, like I said this last week, in a straight line, right? So marching forward, each movie would lead you a breadcrumb to here's Thor, here's this character, here's this character, and we know they're building the Avengers.
So we're basically building up the next level or the next chapter of Avengers.
And if we're building to Secret Wars, or we got things going on different levels, we think Kang, maybe Galactus, Thunderbolts, different things going on. We're going to, with Secret Wars in general, which we're pretty sure we're all building to in some way, you're going to have, you got to think of it less of a line. You got to think of it as just this wide plane,
like an umbrella.
Yeah, because what's happening is that when we get to Secret Wars, this is a major incursion event where hundreds of potential, let's say that for shits and gigs, arbitrary number, hundreds of superheroes and villains teaming up like you wouldn't believe to fight for their actual multiverse Earth or whatever, to fight against each other. So that means that, when you look at Endgame, you have 50,000 people walk through portals, and 90% of them are fucking Wakanda fodder and fucking Carmitage fodder. That would mean that in Secret Wars, most of those people would be actually heroes or villains. You can't just all of a sudden have 50,000 people show up at a fight and the rest of the audience go, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? I don't know who that is. Who's that? That's cool looking. Who's that? You have to be able to introduce them, establish them, and get there. So that means that compared to that phase, it's more unique because we got a wider spectrum. We got Disney Plus to bring in all these characters. Now they've seen the success of the MCU, so now they're like, well, we've already done some of the big name characters. Now we've got Fox characters. We got to bring these in at some point that makes sense as well too. But you've got to bring in a lot of them as well too. So there's a lot going on, which means this build for this story and this phase is probably now at this point going to be a slower burn to get there. We're going to get there, and Feige said that, like I said, and we know that the Quantum Mania is coming out next year and have more stuff with Kang. We know there's some stuff coming on probably with Wakanda this as well too, but it's going to be more centralized. We're going to get those reveals soon, but I think the problem is that we were used to the first sets of these phases kind of going in an order, and it's not now. And it's, again, I think we're skewed from the product that we're getting because of D+ and how much content we're getting.
So first off, I apologize. I missed this part last week.
No, it's all good. It was
after I went to sleep.
I highly recommend you go back and revisit it.
It was very heated.
Yeah,
I asked
I
that
will.
very question.
I almost rock bottomed him through a table.
I do agree. Maybe the whole D+ content, because there is so much of it coming out, right? Maybe it is. Yeah, you say there's years between the movies. Well, that's cool, but we've also had so much content put out in the last 2 years. Like there's still like not even a slight like. Who the fuck's Shang-Chi at this point?
Right, and see, and I'm gonna, I don't want to cut you off for a second. I'm gonna circle around right to what Rohit said, because I think it's gonna answer. I think it addresses what you're talking about as well right now, Cuddles. He says, I think some of it has to do with not a lot of top tier characters to draw the interest early on. We're talking about Thor. We're talking about Cap. We're talking about we're talking about the faces of the of Marvel. And Rohit says, these are not a lot of top tier characters that we're looking at. The Shang-Chi's, the Eternals. These aren't like upper echelon guys. Maybe to some of the hardcore comic people, they're like, oh no, that's a big character. For a lot of like casuals who aren't, they're like, I don't know who these guys are. And we just
got Mutants and X-Men in this plan. They had this planned years ago too.
But let me finish what he says. He goes, and some of the shows are rinse and repeat. Plus, Endgame is really hard to follow. And before, last thing I want to say, I think the one issue I have with this, though, with that argument, is just because we're talking about, it took us a while to get to Thanos and all that stuff. We saw Kang really quick. We saw Kang and Loki. So, I mean, we saw who we think is, if not one of the big bads, the big bad. So, I mean, we see him. We know he's there. And Jonathan Majors is obviously a really good actor, and I think he can make a really good villain. And we have literally seen nothing from him since. So, I mean, I would like to see. That's why I was kind of hoping, if we're bringing Kang out early, I would start to think that's what we're starting to build towards.
Sure, but we're not even a year away from Loki, and we saw Thanos in 2012. We didn't see him for probably another year in another movie. You know what I mean? So like, So like I'm saying, like, we're getting skewed because of the content they're churning out now because of D+.
All right, go ahead, Cuddles. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, like I said, I get that, and as far as the top tier characters, like I'm a casual fan. Y'all know this. But like I enjoyed Shang-Chi. MsMarvel is probably my favorite of the Marvel TV they put out recently. So I am enjoying these new characters, but like there's no like I find it hard to find the actual tie-in between all of these at this point. And I know we keep bringing up how much content, which is cool, but at some point, I mean, even a cameo or like even like Thor, like watching that, like the cameos at the end of that, like the cutscenes, the end scenes or whatever. Like they don't, they're all about Thor. They could care less about the rest. Well, of the
I mean, we look like because I don't count Black Widow because that was part of the last phase. But when you look at, we've had Eternals, which again, Eternals, while showing Star Fox, Eternals is more of a backdrop for all of MCU, and that's going to come full circle eventually as well too. So if we consider actual phases where characters are going to matter, well, they're at the end you had Kit Harington's character, but like you're looking at Shang-Chi. What else? Spider-Man, which is kind of like its own thing, but it had to do with, keep in mind that was triggered because of WandaVision through Loki, like all that stuff, like the multiverse stuff to get to, well, mostly Loki, because you mentioned Kang, but even then again, like, we saw Thanos one time in a year probably as well too. So, I think we're getting there, and I know Feige said it, recently, we're going to find out soon, but like, we just got so much going on and so much building because I think, prior we didn't have D+ to build different levels of stuff as well too. And I think that's a big thing too, is that we continue to forget is that I don't think they're just building on like a Thanos level character. They might be building on something bigger than Thanos and something that's more like globally and more locally.
Multiple threats.
Right. Like, you would think like maybe Defenders or Daredevil, like dealing with Kingpin's a pretty big baddie to deal on like a street level. Maybe there's a world version of a villain we're going to do, like Doctor Doom, I think is going to be probably introduced sometime soon, or Namor, and then you got to look at your cosmic level hero who can fuck up everything. I think that's going to be mostly for Kang, but there might be somebody bigger than that. So just like comics that intertwine with each other, like you'll have Spider-Man number 422, and then you want to follow that storyline. Now you got to pick up Amazing Spider-Man number 3 or something like that.
Right.
So like things are going to intertwine, and like is it the most user friendly for people to understand it as a casual fans? Maybe not. Fine, but I think we just kind of have to kind of wait it out, and we're going to know soon. But again, I think everything is just different from that phase and has to build different. So it's kind of making it so we're looking at it like, okay, well, what's going on? We kind of need to go what's going on. When right now, a lot of these stories, I think, are more meant to be like introduction, origin, get used to these character stories. And guess what? We're going to get that stuff later. But right now we've got, instead of 3 characters introduced in 4 years, we got 20 every year because we've got D+.
Well. And again, these are characters that we're just not familiar with, and they got to build that up. You don't have the luxury of falling back on the big dogs that we that we relied on in the first couple phases.
That's right.
What else you got, Cuddles?
Oh, no, that's about it.
Oh, well, hey, man.
Play Stray. It's a fun game.
No, I definitely plan on checking out Stray this weekend.
Me
I've
too.
heard a lot of really good things about that. And I do want to check out When Dusk Falls on Xbox. I heard that is a very, very good game, and kind of like a Telltale's game with a lot of branching storylines, but much more evolved. And I've always enjoyed those styles of games. So When Dusk Falls, it's available on Game Pass now. Those are the 2 games I'm going to be checking out this weekend. Hopefully as soon as possible. But Cuddles, man, we appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, man.
Love getting your perspective.
Yeah, man,
love getting your
appreciate
thoughts. We appreciate you, man.
Kisses.
Love you.
Love you, boo.
Bye.
I love Cuddles,
So
man.
some questions I want to come back to.
Yes.
First of all, Jay Hill said, wow, this conversation is much more calmer than last week.
Well, we're not. I'm not. We're not.
He's not.
I'm not 12,
he's not
13
12,
beers
13
deep.
beers deep. Rohit asked, do you think some of the cosmic stuff is too much for casual fans? I don't really think so because, I know not everybody liked Captain Marvel, but there were a lot of people that did. I actually really liked that movie, and I think Guardians is also cosmic, and people love Guardians as well, too. I think it really comes down to dialogue, writing, and maybe even sometimes the people that are playing those characters. What else was in there, too?
I like what he says. Do you think these minor characters can hold the weight like your Iron Man?
That was
Thor,
the question
Cap?
I wanted to come back to. Yeah. Again, I think it's the same kind of answer there, too. Like, I think it's harder because you got no Robert Downey Jr.
I was going to say, it's not even just so much the characters, it's the people playing the characters.
But when you look at how much money things like even Doctor Strange has made, or even, Chris Hemsworth still, so these are big names. I guess we really don't know. Shang-Chi did really well. I think for the most part, Shang-Chi did really well, too. And, with Wakanda 2 coming out as well, too, I mean, we really got, only a couple big names in that without.
I think that one's going to be really interesting. I'm really curious to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I think that is something that people are really looking forward to see how they handle that.
Black Panther's still one of my favorite of the MCU. So, but yes, I think I think that's a great question. Again, I really think it comes on how they're utilized. I think that there's no reason why like MsMarvel couldn't be as big as maybe Captain America, but it's hard because they're more iconic. I know everybody's chomping at the bit for the first family. They want the 4. I actually think, to throw this out there kind of briefly, because there's rumors that we might see Doom somewhere soon. I think to build Fantastic Four, they should do it backwards this time instead of introducing the first family. And we've seen Reed, a variant of Reed, and it sounds like John Krasinski's not going to play him, which sucks. But hey, that was a fan thing, and we got that in real life, so we shouldn't complain. I think they should build Doom first and then introduce the Fantastic Four. I think that'd be a unique way to do that, and make sure he looks like fucking Doom this time as well too.
I would argue that Chris Hemsworth was not a star before Thor. I don't think he was a headliner or
he was definitely a name in maybe Australia.
I would say I would say
almost say
saying
his brother,
he's a name is a stretch.
I would almost say his brother had almost at times.
I'm sure he was in a lot. Yeah, I mean he was. Rush. I thought Rush was after Thor.
Rush Hour, love that series.
No, not Rush Hour. But even then, that had to have been close to Thor. I don't think he was. I don't think he was a star before Thor.
Yeah, I think that's the point, Rohi. I think that's
Rush
what it
was
comes
after
down
Thor.
To as well.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't remember. Chris Hemsworth was not a monster
that
star.
Secret
before
sauce
Thor.
can work with the right things involved, and yes, make Dr. Doom a movie. You cards, absolutely. I still think I'm still going to hold to this wannabe theory, and it might not be honest, it might not be real, but I think that in Moon Knight, I think that he was outside of Latveria, that castle. I think that was Dr. Doom's castle. I'm still going to hold to that. Probably not real, but I'm still going to say because he was out in that area.
Yes, he was.
So I still think that he could have been in the Latveria. So we'll see.
Interesting.
Yes.
But overall, this was a great series for adults and kids alike. You know, it'll suit everybody. It's got a great story. It's got great performances. Its representation is fantastic. I mean, everybody from the stars to the directors, you know, they do everything they can. And that's what I do appreciate about the Disney Plus shows is everything is like, you know, built around these characters, around their heritage, around their culture, and it's represented in a great way. So this was a really, really, really good show, and I definitely think it's worth the viewing. J-Hill says, where's the second bracelet?
You know, I'm surprised. I thought maybe she was gonna get the duplicate one from the past, and that was gonna work out. I'm gonna guess space. And I also do think that the rings that the 10 rings, also came from that room or that area too. There's a theory out there about that as well too, because you see the 10 rings symbol on the floor where they take it, which I'm assuming is a Kree to get that bracelet. I'm going to guess there's some connections in there, but I'm going to guess there's another bracelet out there somewhere, and she's going to eventually get it. Maybe they won't introduce the other one, but I think there's probably 2 somewhere. I'm going to guess space.
Screw D+, they canceled Mighty Ducks. Correction, Emilio Estevez screwed the Mighty Ducks.
That's true.
And it wasn't Disney Plus. It was Emilio Estevez. Chris Hemsworth was in 2019.
That was really his first actual breakout main role.
He's not headlining the show.
Well, he was in 5 minutes and gone. It was a cool scene.
Yeah, it's an awesome scene.
But he says, no, don't name him after my father. That's a terrible name.
MCU is what put
absolutely.
on the map. I mean, absolutely. That's what drove him to stardom. I mean, Star Trek was an awesome movie. But yeah, that was, nobody was going to see it because, hey, Chris Hemsworth is in this for 5 minutes.
Right, yeah, no.
But no, I like Hemsworth, and like I said, this is definitely worth the watch. Check out the show if you have watched it, or if you are watching it and you come back for this episode. Make sure you let us know in the comments what you thought of MsMarvel. Chances are you probably loved it. All right, we are on to our final topic in tone. It's time for yet another meme debate. It's time for another meme debate. We talked about this one. We kind of alluded to this the last time we had a meme debate. And I'm very curious to see what you, as well as the viewers, will choose. This involves something that's very near and dear to our heart. Cream pies. These kind. Let's take a look.
Master Splinter.
This week's meme debate. Choose 3. The rest gotta go. Little Debbie edition. These are all of Miss Little Debbie's finest offerings, if not most of them. And there's a lot of tasty ones in here.
Very obscure, very hidden gems that are hard to find and that you can't find very easily. Very aware well of that. I mean, if you look at me, I'm clearly aware. I got that bootleg information. Because there's a couple on there that I afterward I was thinking like, man, that would have been a good one, right? You know, because I'd say like, for instance, the honey buns. I love the honey buns. I fucking love them. But the glazed ones, or the frosting ones, the icing ones, they're better.
They are better.
You know, but regardless, you know.
These are always like the items that I grab when I'm like about to head on the road for a couple hours and I stop at like a gas station.
Really?
And I'm like, I get my large Coke, and then I'm like, what do I fucking want that'll just clog my arteries and give me a lot of sugar? And I always turn to little Miss Little Debbie.
See, I don't go sweet. I go more savory. I always grab pork cracklings or something.
Cuddles comes out with the Christmas tree.
So, okay.
Oh, boy.
First of all, there's certainly 2 on here, and one more than the other, in my opinion, that is completely shouldn't even be on this fucking list.
Oh, jeez.
Like, it's basically like I'll bring you a bag of flour and some sugar, and you can that's all it really is. It's nothing. I mean, it's all sugar. Don't get me wrong, but
there's no creativity to it. It's lazy.
It's fucking completely lazy.
Yeah.
Like it's how I feel about cakes in general, man, when it compared to pie. But I'm not gonna get into that tonight. We're gonna focus on the Little Debbies here. So we already see some folks out there. Let's visit some of these as well too. Very controversial Cuddles to come swinging out there with the Christmas trees. There is roughly 479,000 Little Debbie snacks out there, and you got to choose 3, and you choose a fucking Christmas tree. Are you really gonna do that? Holy shit, man.
Cuddles, my wife caught the brunt of this the other day, man. She said Christmas trees and toads turned into a monster.
She called me a pussy, too. And it was
She did call you a pussy.
She's like, well, I believe he loves the banana twins, that fucking pussy.
Ooh, who the fuck is buying either of the banana snack cakes? Oh, hello.
Have you even tried them? If you don't like bananas, I understand that, but the banana, like the banana cream rolls or pudding rolls are fucking amazing. And that's not even in my top 3.
I would go. I would take the
banana twins over the
banana.
Have you ever had those banana pudding though?
I have, but the twins are fucking really good. The twins are.
Somebody
really
likes
good.
cream pies and a lot of creamy stuff. I'm surprised you like the other one.
You know,
the fuck. But the Christmas tree. I mean, listen, we can we can understand all the diverse tastes here. But who the fuck zeroes in on that Christmas tree and goes, I want that fucking seasonal bullshit cake?
It's a novelty item. It's
Fuck
awesome because it maybe. Hey, you know what? Maybe it represents Christmas. I like the green and red M&Ms. Maybe the Christmas trees are Cuddles.
They don't fucking taste different.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool though.
Jesus,
you know,
Christ.
it's synonymous with Christmas. I think they're all better in the fridge. Ooh. With the
So my dad worked in manufacturing stuff growing up, and his would always be in the freezer. If you've never had a Little Debbie actually frozen or cold, you need to explore it because it's also how I prefer mine as well too.
Let's see what else we got here. We have cherry.
The Easter eggs are better. Yes, I do agree with that.
I'll start here with J Hill oatmeal cream pies, Nutty Buddy fudge brownie.
Okay.
Crash says OCP Swiss rolls, Nutty Buddy. The cupcakes would be sure pick, but the Hostess ones are better.
That's a fair take.
Good argument.
Hot take.
Cherry squishy, oatmeal cream pie, Swiss rolls, strawberry
Same.
shortcakes. I'm a big fan of the strawberry shortcakes.
I think she's got a respectable list there.
That's a really strong list.
Yep.
Oatmeal cream
So
pies.
is that.
This is Gray Monster. Oatmeal cream pies, Nutty Buddy, and strawberry shortcake.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have a lot in common with Gray Monster here.
Okay.
Let's see here. Freezy cupcakes, OCP, and honey buns.
Okay. Yeah, those honey buns, bro.
Honey buns. Tricky Regions, zebra, nutty, OCP. He's going with the zebra.
The fuck, dude!
Here we
I don't
go.
know if you saw. There's like 14 other
things.
like the cake, like the Christmas cake. Honestly, the zebra and the Christmas probably shouldn't have been on there.
God,
They're basically the
this
same thing, just different fucking shapes.
He's so angry.
It's silly.
No,
Look at all these delicious
good.
flavors.
It's good.
Even the devil creams are good.
They're good. Man, I mean, do you have yours?
Oh, my 3 is fucking easy.
Your three
easy.
is easy.
Well, it's easy for my 3, but once I can also do my top 5.
Cuddles wants to call in again. No,
Fuck
Cuddles, you're not calling in again. You probably did a couple of shots
Fucking
since
Christmas trees.
Cuddles chose the Christmas trees to be a weird old
take
man.
zebra cakes, Christmas trees, and one of those things in the corner.
The unicorn.
Yeah.
Unicorns are good.
Are they? I've actually never had those ones.
You know, I gotta go with the oatmeal cream pies for sure.
Yeah.
Those are amazing.
Yeah.
The strawberry shortcake rolls are fucking dynamite.
Fucking sure are.
They're dynamite.
Yeah.
Man, the third one is really tough for me. I've been struggling with this one. It's between the Swiss rolls, the Nutty Buddies, and the fudge rounds.
Yeah, that's a tough 3 to fucking fight for.
That's a really big struggle. Now I'm looking at these, and you know, the fudge rounds, they're just too similar to the oatmeal cream pies.
To the left. See, I want to see the chat. Some.
Oh, you want to see? Oh, sorry.
I want to be able to see. No, just move it all the way over. I was gonna say move it all the way over. You keep it big, but
yeah, I know that's what she said. You know, the fudge rounds are just too similar to the oatmeal cream pies, but they're fucking good. I look at the Nutty Buddies, and the Nutty Buddies are fucking great.
Yeah.
But I'm a Reese's peanut butter cups, and gun in my head, that's what I like. Nutty Buddies are a second tier.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Swiss rolls, dude, that you got that frosting chocolate outside, the cake on the inside, and then you got the cream mixed up with it.
And honestly, the Swiss rolls, like when they're warmer too, they melt in your mouth.
They melt.
Because we just had Swiss cake rolls in the house a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't had one in a while. I was like, "Fuck, these are good."
And I'm not gonna lie, the fudge brownies are fucking tasty. They are tasty.
See,
I do like them.
You do? See, we get the cosmic ones a lot. I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
I don't do the cosmic one. I like the fudge one, the regular ones.
To me, they're just kind of the same, though.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with strawberry shortcake, oatmeal cream pies, and Swiss rolls. Those are the must. Those are the 3 that I could live off of if you got rid of the rest of them. I would miss the Naughty Buddies and the fudge rounds, but I would be okay.
But there's like 15, 14 things to choose from. and people are still choosing the Christmas trees. Like, I don't know, I'm confused by that.
He's still on the Christmas trees.
Can we make it just a little bit bigger to the left for me,
Oh,
just
yeah,
so
yeah.
my blind eyes can see a little bit? So, number one was actually easy for me. My favorite Little Debbie, and if you've never had them, and they're not easy to find. For many years, they were hard to find because I was always look for them. And then randomly, I want to say like 2005-ish, like somewhere in the mid 2000s, they started showing up more consistently as well too. Wow.
Unpopular opinion: Star Crunches are superior.
And now again, and they were one of the ones that had this, like the ice cream that came out. They did the Little Debbie ice cream.
My wife likes the Star Crunches.
Yeah, and she's the first one that said Star Crunches. To be fair,
Mhm.
so. You know what? That's not. It's certainly not a Christmas tree.
It's not a Christmas. Brittany, those are fine choices. I actually do.
Yeah.
The Star Crunches are not unpopular. I'd say they're underrated for sure.
Well, that's the thing about most of everything Little Debbie has. Like, you might have your favorites, but there's a lot of them you would still, say, well, I'd still enjoy that. I still like that, right? Like,
see, there a lot of these things are diverse. I mean,
Right.
You can sit there and look at the unicorn, the Christmas cakes, and the zebra cakes, and they're literally all three of the same things.
Right.
They're literally all same, but everything else is, the Swiss rolls, the strawberry shortcakes, okay, a little bit, and the banana twins and the devil creams, a little bit. But for the most part, everything is diverse. The Star Crunch is one of the most unique ones out of all of them.
Absolutely, because you're basically got Rice Krispies, caramel, and chocolate. So, but anyways, my favorite Little Debbie, hands down, is the peanut butter crunch right there in the middle.
Peanut butter crunch.
It's basically fucking a large version
Twix,
of
isn't it?
peanut butter Twix,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, they are certainly better. And they were hard to find for like the late 90s and early 2000s. My mom would once in a while buy them, and I'd be like, hey, if you're gonna get a snack, get them peanut butter things. She'd be like, oh, they're never in stock. I can hardly ever find them, right? And then they repackaged them in this package, and they came out in the mid 2000s, and you can find them a bit more consistently. The places you can find them more consistently than most places are places actually like Dollar Generals and shit, which is really random. You can't still find them everywhere else too. So
Get him, Brittany.
There you go, Brett.
The
There you go.
Christmas tree is the McRib of Little Debbie. Comes out once a year, and damn it, I will buy it.
Oh my God, that's don't shit on the McRib like that. Fuck, dude. Come on.
It's
I
not
do,
that
and
bad.
I get that because banana flavor. I love bananas. I eat bananas very frequently, but banana flavored things don't always translate well. Like banana runts and shit. But it's fucking funny. Kroger's another spot that has, if you're talking about the peanut butter crunches. But yeah, peanut butter crunch is certainly my favorite because it's always peanut butter #1 for me. So if you've never had them, like I said, they're harder to find. I definitely urge you to try them. They're really, really fucking good. And they're great frozen, FYI. Second one on this list for sure is going to be the strawberry shortcake roll there because, my God, that thing, just like the Swiss cake roll, like
it's got that little shell around it.
Yup.
When you get into it, it just oozes.
And they're really good frozen. I don't always gravitate towards chocolate. Chocolate is like a lot of people love chocolate. Like people are chocolate connoisseurs. I gravitate towards other flavors, typically more on the fruitier side or like that kind of thing, and more or less than chocolate. So for me, I prefer those over the Swiss cake rolls, or the strawberry jelly rolls. They're fucking incredible. And then my last one, very cliche, but never gets old.
Christmas tree.
There's 15 other flavors out there that anyone could choose from. That's not the Christmas tree. So absolutely not. Nor the zebra cakes. Is the oatmeal cream pie. It will never, to me that the oatmeal cream pie, and I don't know if this is true. I feel like this is like the original Little Debbie snack, and it might be, it might not be, I don't know. But in my head, that's how I play it out. It is the OG. It's the staple. It's never going to change. You get them in double decker now. You can get them in large. You can get them in smaller because we all know they shrank over the last 20 fucking years as they've sold them to us as well too. But I love oatmeal cookies generally, which most people typically don't usually like them if there's chocolate or anything else around. I love oatmeal cream pies. I love oatmeal. I think they're fucking incredible. That would be my top 3, Alex.
They spelled cream wrong, but I digress. No, I mean they're like I said, there's a lot of good things on here. But yeah, that's why I love Little Debbie, man. I mean, honestly, man, most times you can put a Little Debbie in front of me, I'm gonna fucking smash that thing.
Yeah.
Regardless of which one it is. I mean, if I'm sitting somewhere, dude, and I have nothing else to eat, and somebody throws the fucking Christmas tree in front of me, I'm eating the fucking Christmas tree. just because it says Little Debbie.
But you're gonna look at them and say, were they out of the rest of them?
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, did you give everything else? Am I the last guy at the end of the line? This is it? Yeah. Everyone said no to this one?
Right. Everybody's in line for their bread, and you're getting these fucking
But
Christmas
I mean,
trees.
at the end of the day, it's a Little Debbie item, and it's a Little Debbie ingredients, even if it is just the half-ass effort.
Oh, it was the original snack cake. Oatmeal cream pie was.
Oh, well, the oatmeal cream pie was the original snack. There were 14 different varieties by 1964. Oh, man.
Just different of
different of all the things.
Snacks,
Okay, okay. Most popular Little Debbie is fudge rounds. I believe it, man. Fudge rounds are fucking good.
And that's really are. So my top 5 was really tough because I do love like both the banana flavors, which is usually controversial. The banana pudding ones, which are really hard to find, I really like as well too. But fudge rounds and honey buns was where like on my 5th one was fucking tough.
Yeah.
Because fudge rounds are delicious as fuck for one. But honey buns, like even the non-Little Debbie version of honey buns, and you find those big honey buns with like dude, that's one of the snacks I grab a lot if I'm gonna grab something sweet. It's typically a honey bun, which is dumb because I got to drive and my hands get all fucking sticky. So it's not ideal if you're doing it for a snack. But yeah, that's my top 5. But certainly not zebra cake or anything like that either. So
I thought that was a really, really good meme. I thought that was it was challenging. I had to think about that for a while, man. Like I'm not joking. Like that was when we mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Like, man, we should do a Little Debbie one. I was like, I don't want to do a Little Debbie one. Right. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to sit there and rule out a bunch of them, other than the unicorn, the Christmas, and the zebra cakes. But I don't know, man. I love my meme debates, but I love my cream pies more.
Dry, what's he talking about? Dry as fuck.
Man, they spelled it like
you're
that.
Talking the honey buns are dry as fuck when you got that delicious glaze to slick down your throat, but you're eating a fucking Christmas tree.
Do you ever just microwave it for like 10 seconds?
Really? So
that glaze turns into kind of like a little bit of a sauce.
Oh shit!
It's playful. But they spelled it wrong here too.
Stop.
I'm writing a strongly worded letter to Lil Debbie. You're spelling cream pies wrong. Damn it. That's embarrassing. What were you gonna say?
You're a sick fuck. So I bet this bitch time buys a Christmas beer.
He does. He does buy his Christmas.
Well, actually,
Frankenmuth Christmas beer, whatever it is.
That is the one I do buy yearly. But now that Draston is making Ginger Dead Man, even better. Ooh. So he got that flavor down. So being that that's the last, we do have some housekeeping things to talk about as well. Of course, keep an eye out over the next hopefully week here, a few days. I'll get everybody that information for the Survey Monkey.
Yes.
For the survey as well too. Cuddles, you won't get that because you're gonna blow us up over the Christmas cake thing. But there's 15 other flavors you can choose from, to be fair. So the Midland Mall Comic Con, as everybody knows, we talk about that constantly because we are less than a year away. Fetz and Paul, who the same person, of course, has been working diligently. If you see us post that stuff on Facebook, we would appreciate, just like anything that we do, just share that. Kind of get that out there. Slots are actually filling up. Now that there's no pandemic ahead of this, and he's got time, everybody learned a lot. There's more people involved in some decision making. He's got more organization going right now. He's planning, and I'm telling you what, we got food trucks this year coming as well too. More events, of course. D&D is still gonna be there. 7 Dungeons will be there doing their thing, rolling some dice. So honestly, if you see that stuff out there, share that. If you know people that might want to get a table and share their wares or sell their wares out there, reach out to Fetz, reach out to me. I can give you in the right direction, get some prices on that sort of stuff as well too. But we're building strong, building ready. If any of you folks want to come into town for that weekend as well too, it's pretty busy because we're up pretty early and doing long days. But next year I plan on taking probably at least Monday off and doing it better. Probably Friday, Monday, like an extended weekend as well too. But if anybody's in the area, we actually may need or would love to have somebody who can kind of work people in the booth with us, because the raffle went okay last year, but I feel if we had somebody that could talk to people a little bit better as well too, that might be something to work as well too. So yeah, definitely reach out to me on that, Cherry, because we can talk about that. I can get you to Paul on that as well too. So 7 Dungeons, I know they're planning, the D&D is going to, they need a person as well to help kind of bring people in or do some stuff as well too. So the bottom line was getting as if you want to come hang out, we also are looking for volunteers overall for the con, and that would be helpful. We're really excited to be involved again. We really appreciate Fetz. He's bringing in like a lot of local businesses as well too. So a lot of work, a lot of sponsorship as well too. So a lot going on. So we're really excited about that. So like I said, if you see that stuff, please share that. And as always, when you see us out there on the internet, whether that's Facebook, whether that's Twitter, Instagram, wherever it might be, please, as always, like you do, like, follow, share. We are only a couple away from YouTube, so if this is your first time here or you haven't had a chance yet, check out our YouTube, Banter
We're
Babble.
like 1 or 2 away from 500.
We're almost at 500, so we're really, really excited to almost hit that
Even if you
milestone
just
as well,
watch
too.
on Twitch or Facebook, that's your
Right.
You have a YouTube account.
Right.
Everybody does.
And you can go back and watch my awesome Mortal Kombat video and then me freaking out last week in the big argument. So that's always going to be there for evergreen. If you're on Spotify, same thing. You don't know we're on YouTube, go check us out on YouTube. You can get some video of us as well too, and you can also see some of the crazy shit that we get into. At least live here as well. So a lot of facial expressions. But we always definitely appreciate you guys as well too. Don't do bots. We don't want that fake shit. Funny guy. But that's really about it, I think, for me, outside of we do got some things that we're trying to change and do. Again, I know the survey is going to be kind of part of that to get some of your feedback, but we are working on some different things for the stream, like some cosmetic upgrades, some other announcements as well too for myself. Hopefully soon we'll get deeper into that over the next couple weeks as well. But just tune in. It's long past time that we keep that foot on the pedal and the gas and move forward. So we're as always we're trying to charge forward. So just like I said, we appreciate y'all for being here.
And lastly, if you're watching on YouTube and you'll enjoy the show, hit that like button. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify and you dig the show and you love tuning in every week and you're downloading episodes and it's taking up all the memory on your phone, we appreciate you. Hit that 5-star review if you dig the show. And if you're on iTunes and you're sitting on the shitter, you can write up a small review as well. Those reviews allow our show to get more exposure on those platforms, and obviously on something like Spotify and iTunes, every little bit counts. It allows our show to kind of get a little bit more exposure to people who are looking for like or similar content to what we do. So seriously, it's greatly appreciated if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button, share it with your friends and family or any other nerds out there that like the same shit that we like. All that stuff helps a ton, and all you got to do is press a button, and it does wonders for us, and we really appreciate you. But lastly, just thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out every Wednesday night for 2 to 4.5 hours. We appreciate you being here, being a part of the conversation, calling in, sharing your thoughts, sharing your perspective. That is why we do this show. We don't do it just so we can fucking yell at each other and drink all day. I mean, that's an awesome perk. But it's about getting each and every one of you involved and being a part of the conversation and being a part of this community. So I can't thank you guys and girls enough. It's really awesome to have you here, and we really, really appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing is going to be a brief little promo that I want to announce as well too. If you live in the area, the Tri-City area, Michigan, within an hour's drive, and need something to do this Saturday night here in Saginaw, Michigan, the one and only Rohit Raju, 7 p.m. will be wrestling here in the Saginaw-Carlton area. Reach out to us, and we can get you the information and the price at admission at door, the directions, everything. So he doesn't get a chance to wrestle here in Saginaw too often. When it does, it's really exciting. Many folks around here remember him from so many years ago wrestling around here too. So please, if you got nothing to do this weekend, holler at us. We're gonna try and go. I'm trying to make sure I can go Saturday to watch him wrestle. And we're excited to have you around. Be able to wrestle in town. Rohit says we get to see him on the big screen, which is great too. Stomping some fucking faces.
I've seen him live before though in one of these venues around
That's a
town.
whole other
East
story.
City before the pandemic really blew up, and that was a fucking wild show,
Yep.
man. Him and Jake went toe to toe.
Yep.
And it was pretty wild, dude.
Yep.
So
some good names on the card this coming weekend.
fuck, why does all the cool shit happen when I'm out of town? Because you're out of town. That's when they're like, hey, Crash is out of here.
And
Let's
if you want to
fucking
see
party.
Nope this weekend, we're gonna try and go see it Sunday, sometime in the middle of the day. I think is the plan.
Sometime on Sunday, we're gonna
Depending
go check
how
out Nope.
I am feeling.
So next week we'll talk about Nope. We're gonna talk about The Old Man. That is the finale drops this week, so we'll be talking about Old Man. Not only Nope, there's that Gray Man movie dropping on Netflix, the Chris Evans Ryan Gosling flick, where they're like two assassins going head to head. Not reviewing well at all, but I'll still watch it because I like Ryan Gosling, I like Chris Evans, and I love our Amadeus or whoever her name is.
Amadeus?
Amadeus. I think that's her name. I don't even know.
Oh, Anna de Amas.
Yes. Just the most beautiful woman on earth. But I digress and go on and on about that one. That's going to do it for tonight's show. We appreciate each and every one of you being here. We'll be live next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch, right here on Facebook, right here on YouTube, and the following day on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever the hell else you listen to your audio stuff.
Anchor, Audible, things.
It's going to be hot. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about next week. For Fanboytone, I'm the Dude79. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. See you next week.